Welcome to another live stream edition of the Hard Rock Show. This is going to be interesting to see how this goes because Jeff jumped in while the pre-roll was going. So hello to Jeff because we're going to say hello on the fly.
Hey,
but
Jeff.
in this episode, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
I'm Conrad.
I'm Jeff.
Hey, here we go. We did that pretty well.
Yeah, we did.
My timing is impeccable. I'm like, what is going on? Yeah.
Like we were holding out and we're like, no, we'll just make him a late arrival. And then you jumped in while I was doing the pre-roll there. So I was like, well done. Nicely timed.
I'll tell you what, it was. I
You
didn't know
done
what the
that
hell
well.
was going on. I thought, what's going on? Yeah, I had no idea. So I just played it like I knew what I was doing.
You
That's
did it well.
how we run the show, man.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly.
Everything we do is wing it, man. That's the entire ethos of the show is just fucking wing it and see what the hell happens. So that's what we're doing. We have a run sheet, but that's about it. All right. Speaking of a run sheet, tonight we are going to be going through. We're going to kick off our King of the Riff concept album edition with a battle of Tommy from the Who versus Imaginaerum from Nightwish. We're also going to chat about some new tunes, obviously, as we're going to pick our vocalists for the Big Four supergroup. We're going to discuss the recent farewell announcement by Aerosmith. We're going to talk about the campaign to save the tote and more. If that's not enough, we'll also have the usual stuff like the bin at the end of the episode as well. There'll be links in the description for reference tracks and that we're talking about, so make sure you go and check those out. Do the same thing for our fantastic sponsors. A big thank you to Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance. Their details, just like ours, are in the description box, so make sure you give them a like or a follow. And while you're doing that sort of stuff, give us a like, a follow, or a share too. Give us your thoughts. Say hi in the comments. All the usual stuff that everyone gets you to do. We're no different, but please jump in, say hi, and give us your thoughts on this as we go along. And while I've got everyone's attention, Jody says hello to everyone as well. So
Hey,
there we
Joe.
go. Just like every week. What do we got here? So Nicole is here saying evening all. Good to see you, Nicole. Hopefully you're keeping well out there. Same with Andrew. Good to see you. Going hello, guys. Michael too. Good evening, everyone. Good to see you. So far, I'm not seeing any Facebook comments, so let's see how this goes with Facebook tonight. I don't know if anyone's on Facebook tonight. And Nicole saying hello, Jody, which is very nice of you, Nicole. Thank you very much for that. All righty. I'm going to assume we have Facebook people because we've got a couple of likes, which I can see. And then I've got, okay, cool. That's all right. Oh, there we go. Sonia's going hello, all. Good to see you, as always, Sonia. Oh, hello, Jolie. Jolie's going hello. I'll be watching the whole show tonight. We're not getting on your break. That's a great one. So
That's
for
cool.
the first, that's awesome. Yeah, Sonia, I can see the different platforms as they come through. It was unusual run to get a half dozen YouTube comments before I even get the first Facebook comment. Usually it's the other way around. So it was cool. But no, it's good to see those two platforms working well for us. And Vinny's gone evening, fantastic four. Thank you very much for that. Some kind words there indeed. Yes, just going, thank God. Yeah, we're all here. We're all on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're on Twitter, doing all the usual things. I'll then cut this one later on and put it up on audio stuff as well. For those that are tuning in later on, you'll have your choice of video and audio platforms as well. Chris is here too, saying evening, lads. Good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you are keeping well out there. Michael says, give me another drink, Jolie, please. And Sally's here saying, hey, guys, good to see you as well, Sally. As always, love having you around. Same with Basher, another regular. Good to see you too. Hopefully you're keeping well. And, we're going to be having a lot to get through, so make sure you give us all your thoughts, as much as you want to anyway, as we go through things. Now, the premise at the end, or the main thing for tonight, is that we have Conrad here to help us out with the King of the Riff concept album edition. It was his idea for a concept album battle series, so we're going to be doing this over like the next 9 weeks. Today is week 1. But before we get stuck in all the usual stuff tonight, let's do the rounds. Dave, how's your week been?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm tired. Life is busy. May is my insane month, and I'm most of the way through my first glass of wine, so I'll probably duck out and grab another one soon. So tonight's going to be interesting. Good old LD wine brings out the best in Dave. Fuck yeah. Now, how is my week going? Jesus Christ, it's getting busy. My daughter's off to school camp soon, so we've been getting her prepared for that. Been to the shops to get some stuff, some luggage, some everything. And she's also going to high school next year, so we've had open nights, we've had school tours, and I could bang on and on about how cool this school is and how impressed I am. I'm actually shocked and happily. My expectations weren't this high because you hear a lot of horror stories about high school and teens and everything, but yeah, I am really, really happy and really, really
From everything
impressed.
you were telling me before we went live tonight, like sounds like a great fucking setup. So
It is amazing. I would love to go back to high school. I really would. I hated high school back in the 90s, but I would probably thrive in this environment because it sounds like people actually give a fuck now. And there's so many different programs that cover everybody's interest, and you get to go with everything, and then you get to pick what you want, and they encourage people to find their passion. And if you're not good academically, they will help you get an apprentice in year 12 if you feel that that's your path, and it's all provided for. There's so much support for kids these days. You hear so many negative stories in media about schools being overpopulated and overcrowded and bad funding, and nobody gives a shit. But it's to my experience, I am really happy and impressed. But May also gets really busy because my anniversary is coming up with Julia, and we both went on a school tour. We went to the same high school, so it was cool to be able to talk to somebody who has a comparison to the way things was for us. But our anniversary's coming up. My son's birthday's coming up. My daughter's birthday's coming up. So I spent the afternoon at the shops buying some presents for Rory. He went to the dentist last night, and he's 9 years old and never had a filling, so he's quite proud of that. And we had a bit of a meltdown at work today. He had to pull part of the valve apart underneath because I opened the valve to start the pour with the hot wax, and I had to literally hang off the valve, and my weight, 80 kilos roughly, pulled the damn thing open because it's so like little bits of wax have just seeped in all around the seals. Yeah. So after that, we could not close it afterwards to start another batch. So we actually pulled that whole thing apart. With a heat gun, we melted all the shit around it. So never fun disassembling stuff at the best of times, but when you have to use a heat gun and really clean stuff, things get hot. I have burnt myself with a heat gun in the past, but nothing too major today. Apart from that, life is good. The Reserve Bank can go fuck off and kill themselves. But,
I was waiting for that. That'll be a bin later on, I'm sure.
No, I'm trying to keep things positive, but it's tough. You just keep drinking, keep listening to music, and keep having fun. Now I'm going to shut up before I monopolize the time and ask Conrad, how are you doing?
Well, thank you. I'm doing all right. Not as eventful as your week. I have job service providers to deal with, saying, "Are you going to get a job? And what are you doing with yourself?" And I say, "Look, I'm going away. Just tick the box." The box, do your job. And just they're like, "Oh, okay, you're going on." Yeah, so they're not too happy about forking out for courses, which I've asked for. So look, I'd appreciate a forklift ticket. Thank you very much. Can you fund that? And they're like, "No, we're not going to fund that. So we'll fund a bar course for you, but we won't fund you, what you want to do." Or something that might be useful. So just fighting with that sort of bullshit. But
I'd take that, man. Funding a bar course, I'd drink everything I could, then leave the country.
Well, it's not that kind of bar course. It's the RSA. It's not interest. The RSA stuff. It's just,
I was thinking the same thing Dave was. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's an RSA thing.
Crazy.
I'd take it anyway and just be completely ignorant. It's like, where's the fucking booth?
I have done. I've taken the RSA course, and I'm happy to accept what they're prepared to offer, but they're not offering much. Which part of the course I do get annoyed with job service providers. I've dealt with a lot of them, and not much of them stepped up to the plate and done a lot. Anyway, that's digressing. Let's going off the track, but nice, relatively stress-free. First world problems. What am I moaning about? There are people in other countries who don't have job service providers.
Yeah, that's
they don't have jobs.
Yep.
Or food.
Or food. Or houses. So, I've got nothing to moan about. I'll shut up and let Jeff say hello.
Hey. Thank you. Thank you.
Cool t-shirt, dude.
Oh. You mean this little thing? Or his? I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yours. I can't see Conrad's properly. So the hassle wearing a battle vest, man. Like, I feel your pain. You can't show off the fucking sweet threads anymore.
Wish you were
Here's
here.
this Floyd,
wish you were here. Nice.
This is classic. Yeah, that's
it's
classic.
like
Nightwish. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Here we go.
Yeah, because he's going for. Yeah, I won't say it. All right.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'm wearing pants. I'm good excited.
That's a first.
It is. People I knew.
Yeah. Anyway, oh my God, where do I start with my week? I have been up and down, like just feeling like fucking hammered dog shit. Yesterday, I didn't want to go to work. Got up and did it anyway. Dragged myself out of bed, literally pulling myself along. And then just now, I finished work at 5, and I went straight to bed. And I just kept hitting the snooze. I kept telling myself, got to get up, must get up, must get up. And look at I think, and so I literally dragged myself, and here I am. Oh my God. I'm a dedicated guy. I had to come. I said I would be here. I'm here. Let's just shut up and let's get on with it. Yeah, I'm here. Fucking hell. I feel like death warmed up.
This is going to be fun. Jeff's ill. I'm on the way to being drunk. Conrad's leaving the country. What's happening in Andrew's world this way?
Exactly.
Me, in my world, it's all same old, except for the problem now of I'm logistically organizing us, or my wife and I are organizing us to do the move, which is a lot. It's a lot. So we're getting our youngest, we're setting him up to move out, and so he'll be with his sister soon. We're selling off assets that we're not going to take with us that we don't need anymore. So it's all part of the downsizing thing. We're organizing removalists to do backloading stuff so we can freight things up and down without it costing us an arm and a leg. Working out we're going to leave at people's houses just in the short term, just while we go and do things back and forth to minimize the immediate outlay, and just that logistical side of things on top of working the day job and on top of doing all the editing for the show and sitting down and doing this sort of stuff. I love it all. Everything is good, but it's a lot. And so this week, and it's just a little harder to get on top of things as much as I would like. So, but it is this week was a tough week in that context. But again, like Conrad said, it's all first world problems. I mean, I'm in a pretty fortunate position to be doing what I'm doing. So it's all good.
The end result will be cool, man. And
that's the thing.
Nothing worth doing is easy.
That's the thing. And we are very, very excited about it. Jody's got like 8 weeks of work left. I've got about 12 weeks of work left, and then we're out of here. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when we get up there and just finish the build and all that kind of stuff too. So there's a bit to do, but it's all going really, really well. We're all very, very happy and excited about everything. It's just that this week has been a lot to sort of deal with in that. It's like a lot of phone calls, a lot of packing, a lot of moving, a lot of just all that sort of stuff going on. So when you're doing that, when I already have a pretty full schedule, it's like, shit, I'm looking forward to the weekend where I can sleep a little bit. But generally speaking, I've got nothing to complain about. Work is good. Everything is good. Everyone's happy, healthy, well. That's the main thing for me. So everything's actually pretty good. It was just a bit of a hectic week this week in particular. But yeah, all good. All good. Chris says you might regret asking for my thoughts. Never. Dude,
Never.
We have Vinny every week. I think you'll be fine.
More midget jokes.
Yeah,
I should start joking. I should do a joke of the week. That'd be fun.
You can if you want. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think you want to go there.
I'm not sure if probably get cancelled at some point. Man family say g'day. All good to see you as well. Hopefully you're keeping well over there. Guys here from Twitch saying hi, Rockers. Greetings from Denmark. Sorry, I'm fresh from the dentist. Wow, that would be an interesting experience watching us when you're loaded. That'd be fun. Rowan gives us the horns. Vinny says gearing up for the king's coronation this weekend. Apparently, Camilla's pronouns will be equine and mare. There you go. There's your joke of the week.
There we go.
Oh wow! Apologies in advance for any monarchists out there, because I don't think you find. I don't know about Conrad, but I don't think there's many of us here.
No, not a fan.
No. Nicole says, yeah, my son's school excels in sports for those not academically gifted, mainly NRL, but hopefully can get them on board with AFL. That'd be a good one for you, Nicole. That'd be awesome. But either way, sport can be great. Guy says, numb in the face, drooling, nothing new. That's generally the feeling I've pretended.
Me every day is what that is.
That's all of us after a long enough time in these sessions. Darren's here saying, hey, all good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well.
Hey.
Rowan says, that's a gold class movie idea. Guy signs up for a bar course for the free booze and accidentally becomes a lawyer. I'm sure Jim Carrey will do it somewhere along the way. Him or Adam Sandler will do it. The guy says, we have job centers here. The only thing they don't do is get people the job, which is, that's a problem everywhere, unfortunately. Nicole is saying, well done, Jeff, for pulling yourself up by your bootstraps to get here tonight. And Darren is going, Dave on the way to being drunk. That's new. Not really, but obviously the sarcasm. We should do the thing they do in Reddit where people do the /S for sarcasm in comments. That should be a thing we do here. And Terry's here saying, hi all, good to see you. I'm not sure if it's the same person on YouTube and Facebook. I'm assuming it is. But yeah, good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well out there too. All righty. we'll get into the new tunes segment of tonight's episode. I'm not sure if Conrad or Jeff have checked these tracks out, but that's okay. If you haven't, we'll just waffle on between us while you guys sort of get to spectate for a minute.
I can fake it. Yeah.
Didn't give us homework. I'm sorry.
I know. It's all. I gave you one bit of homework and
other bit of homework to do.
Yeah. You'll get the important homework later on. But Dave, we're going to start with your choice of the week, which is a new track from Severed Angel. There's a link in the comments, a link in the description as well, with their video for Attachment Unavailable. So Dave, this is your pick of the week. So you start us off. What made you think of this one?
Yeah, I got this on an email promo. You still get lots of stuff come through, and it's just like, okay, there's so much to go through. And I had some free time, so I just clicked on this randomly. Just like, I've never heard of this band, and this sounds interesting. So I gave it a listen. Just like, this is the title itself, Attachment Unavailable. I'm surprised no one used that before, because it's basically a commentary on people's obsession with technology, phones, and the video itself is like you can be sitting right next to your loved one and you're just completely engrossed in what you're doing online. You forget to live your life. And everyone's pulled up or shared something that's come up with Attachment Unavailable. It's just like, fuck, it's so clever. The band itself, they've got a very prog metal vibe to themselves, bit of some Dream Theater vibes in there. The vocals are really the right type of harsh. So if you like Dream Theater, but you think a lot of people don't like James O'Brady, you want something a bit heavier, then you're probably worth checking out this band. I had never heard of this band before.
I agree with that.
And I'm actually really glad I clicked on this one because clever wordplay, clever lyric writing, great performances. So this is definitely a band to check out some more of. They've got a full album from what this is from. But I thought this was really cool. So I thought I'd share it with the world.
Yeah.
Where are these
good
guys
choice.
from?
I think they're American.
Oh, okay.
I might be able to pull it up and have a look. I'm not sure.
Right.
Severed Angel, where's their bio? Northeast United States. There we go.
Okay. New York area, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. I'm not sure. But Jeff, I'm going to defer to your excellence in that regard, or your expertise, I should say, in geography over in that part of the world.
Boston, New York, Massachusetts, all that area. Yeah, that's Northeast US. Yeah. Maine.
For me, this is pretty cool. It's heavy in both music and lyrics. There's a lot going on. There's loads of riffs, a fair bit of synth in this one as well, actually. I could hear immediately why Dave picked this one as soon as I put it on, because there is that Dream Theater vibe. It's definitely there. It is a bit on the heavier side of things. But between that and the lyrics, which I know Dave and social media can be a bit of a love-hate affair, it's one of those things that, once I heard the song on, I know exactly why Dave picked this one. Like I said, Dream Theater vibe on the heavier side of things, some cutting social commentary in this song. Again, like Dave was describing, there's a focus on, relationships versus social media kind of thing. And the growling aspect of this is pretty well done. Not over the top at all. There's still loads of melody, the great clean vocals and clean tones across this one in terms of, guitar work and that too. There's a good mix of, grunt and beauty in this particular track in particular. It is on that progressive side of heavy metal kind of thing, but there's still loads of melody. Even though we're talking about screaming vocals, there's still loads of clean melodic vocals. It's a really good balance actually on this track. For me, I like the intensity of it. I think that it's not like Dream Theater aren't a go-to band for me, so this isn't quite a go-to thing for me, even though I tend to like this style of music a little bit more. But that said, I did enjoy it. And if this song grabs you, then like Dave mentioned, there's a new album that was released last Friday. The self-titled debut album was only a few days old, just under a week old now to do this one. So if you like that, there's a whole album to go and check out and see what you think of it from there. Darren put in the comments, he gave us the sarcasm. Well done. Nicely done. All right, on to my pick for this week, which is a bit of an older choice, but I haven't gotten around to doing this one yet, so I wanted to put it in this week, and that's the latest single from Carly Jewell. It's a track called Open Roads. Again, there is a link in the comments and in the description, so go and check out if you want to. But Carly Jewell is an artist we've been following and appreciating for quite some time now. I think for me, it's another really well done song from her. She always puts out great, consistent stuff. I haven't heard a song of hers I don't like, to be honest. I think everything she does is great. But I like how this one in particular leans into rhythm more by using the drums and the vocals in the verse part a lot more than anything else, which is really cool. It was a nicely done little trick there. But her delivery, her vocal delivery, her style, her uniqueness keeps getting better with each thing she puts out. There's not a lot of flash in this song, but it leans into storytelling really, really well, which I really did appreciate about it. I think the storytelling side of this, the lyrical content, the delivery of that was the highlight of this song for me. Each part of the song, so the, bridge, verse, chorus, all that sort of stuff. You want to get into technical, jargon when it comes to the writing of it. Each particular aspect of the song has its own unique or distinct feel to it, which is cool. And there's great tones across the song as well. It's a nice sort of mid-tempo rocker in general that kicks up a gear and it gets really chunky toward, like it's in the middle toward the end. It really does sort of rock it up a bit harder too, which is cool. There's some nice bites, some nice harmony in this one as well. I love the rumble to it. And if you haven't been following Carly Jewell, then I can't recommend her highly enough. I think she's fantastic. And I think this is another great addition to her catalog. What about you, Dave?
Yeah, much like you, man. I've liked everything that she's released. I've seen her live a couple of times. Most recently was a couple of years ago with Eat the Damn Orange, and then back in the old Elephant and Wheelbarrow days. But fuck, she always puts on a great show. Her songwriting is always amazing, and performances are outstanding. And yeah, I didn't know this was out, so when you link this through, I'm like, oh, this is cool. And as soon as it comes on, I'm just like, holy shit, this is awesome. This is probably one of my favorite songs she's released to date. It's instantly catchy. Vocals are great as always. The composition creates really nice mood, and I like songs like this that do create that mood. Part of that comes from the clean tone melody over a distorted guitar riff. That always works so fucking well. And there's a great story in the lyrics. So I really, really like this song. So if you're unfamiliar with Carly Jewell, this is a fantastic starting point. But everything she's done is great. Definitely check her out.
Nice. Cool. Glad you liked it as well.
Where is she from? She Melbourne?
Yes, Melbourne.
Yes. Oh, she's from Melbourne. Oh, okay, cool. Cool, excellent.
Yeah. She actually works not far from, I don't know about now, but she used to, a few years ago, worked not far from where I used to live in Cranbourne. So I'd go, we'd see each other quite often back around there. And she's a fantastic person to boot on top of all this sort of stuff too. She's really wonderful. Nice. Really nice person.
She gigs around Melbourne.
Yeah, quite often actually, generally speaking. So she was doing a fair bit.
I'm unfortunately have left, so it's a shame I've left.
Yeah, I know. No, well, maybe I don't know, but no, she's really, really good. She's got some. I think her next stop is to actually go on a Japan tour. So,
cool.
And then from there they're trying to line up a US tour as well in the near future too. So there's a bit going on in the Carly Jewell world. So it's good times ahead. The album Phoenix from a couple of years ago is an absolute ripper as well. So yeah, if you like this one. Yeah, definitely check out the rest of her stuff because she's got some great cracking music out there too.
Nice.
All right.
I'm going to get a drink because the hot topic is going to make me sad.
Oh, okay. Well, while Dave does that, I'm going to get onto the gig plug in just a second, actually. But David says, "G'day, fuckers. I've had a few beers. Rock on." I see Tommy, no pun intended. Huge Who fan. All the best. Cool, man. Good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. And you're welcome to keep drinking because we're going to keep drinking ourselves. You're all good. Yeah. And Tommy is coming up a bit later on, so that is happening. And Sally says, "Love Carly. This sounds great. Definitely a fan," which was good to see. It's good to see some love for these guys, for Carly as well from Sally. I know Sally is a big fan, and a lot of us are, to be honest. So yeah, she always releases great tunes. So yes, wholeheartedly endorse Carly Jewell. Alrighty, in the comments, in the description, as usual, there is a link. This is the last chance to save the tote. We've covered this one before. But the reason why we're bringing it up again this time around, for those playing along at home, is because 6 hours ago, the Last Chance Rock and Roll Bar put up on socials. The target is $3 million to get for the Last Chance Rock and Roll Bar to buy the tote and to make sure it stays as a live music venue. They intend to wrap it up in trusts and whatever legal red tape they can do it to make it basically permanently stay as a live music venue, a part of Melbourne's fabric, as opposed to seeing it get torn down and replaced with apartment buildings or whatever else they can do with the space. So the people behind the Last Chance Rock and Roll Bar have been running this campaign for quite some time. There's about 48 hours to go to reach a $3 million target, and they're at 2.3 plus now, which is actually fucking remarkable. Now, this is honestly, I'm going to be blunt, this is more than I thought they'd get to be fair. Like, I really did think that they would... We were doing it a few weeks ago for those that were playing along, and they were sort of hovering between the 1 to 1.5 million kind of a thing. They were slowly growing there. Over the last couple of weeks, it's just ballooned out to 2.3. So in the context of things, they're over 2/3 of the way there. They just need to get only, quote unquote, $700,000 now to finish it off. And that's remarkable. And now it's a 48-hour.
How much do they need for the whole thing? Was it
$700K?
They need $3 million for them. They've stumped up,
which is
$3
half
million
of it.
own.
3 million's half of it, isn't it?
Yeah, because they've stumped up $3 million themselves, and they need the other $3 million from crowdfunding to sort of make an offer on the place and hopefully secure it. And even since they put up that post 6 hours ago, it's now over 2.4 million. So they're under 600,000 to go, which I know is still a lot of money. But in 48 hours, let's fingers crossed.
Surely
Now,
somebody out there is going to say, well, hey, it's an investment.
Well, it'd be nice if a big Australian band, if a big Australian band could put some money behind it. You know?
Well, it'd be nice to get that happening.
Like AC/DC, that's spare change to them, you know.
I know. Hey, look, to be honest, to be fair, now this is the sort of moment where there's 48 hours to go. They out of $3 million they've raised over 2.4 so far, which is fucking phenomenal. So even if this doesn't go ahead, that's an amazing effort. That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
they had great coverage on this one. I think it's if you can still spread the word on social for the next 48 hours, get onto it. You know, even if you can't donate, just spread the word. If you have any contacts out there that might be able to help, get this thing across the line, then just get it all in, because like I said, this is a lot further than I expected it to go, and it'd be great to see this one actually get over the line. It'd be actually fucking remarkable. So it'd be a huge coup in the grand scheme of things when we talk about how much we've lost over the last sort of few years, and how these guys would be able to make it into something pretty bloody special, make it a live music venue in perpetuity, which is the plan. So that'd be great. If we can get this across the line, then yeah, like I said, even if you can't donate, there's lots of different options on there. Like there's heaps. They got a lot of tiers on their little reward program. But if you, even if you can't chip in, which I know times are tough, so I'm not expecting everyone to be able to do it at all. But if you can, great. But if you can't, then just keep sharing around, get as many people as you can involved in this one, because Jesus, I'm pretty sure we can get 600,000 people across Melbourne to chip in something. What I mean? Like
just $1 each,
and it'd be done. Yeah. So think about it, folks. Just spread the word. See if we can get people in there. To every little bit will count. So yeah, please do get around it if you can. Back to the comments for a second here. Guy says, cheers, Dave, when it comes to go and get your drink, which is nice, and all for that matter. Chris says, I've just shared it to my hard, heavy Facebook group. Might not do much, 13,000 followers from around the world, but I'll try. Hey, mate, it's everything's better than nothing. Yeah. That's why we're doing it in a live stream. We get the interaction here, so hopefully that'd be nice. Nicole's got a good point here. Mushroom Records should pop up some bucks too. New music helps them, so yes, at all.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some radio stations pitching on this one too, to be honest. Like, it'd be nice if they could allocate some of that advertising budget. But anyway, we'll see what happens. But we're so close.
Fucking awesome. I met Tom Morello outside the Torte.
Yeah. It's one of those things that's it's an iconic part of the furniture or fabric of Melbourne. So I think we should really try and get this one across the line. So if you can, spread the word, spread the love, and let's see, hopefully we can get it across the line over the next sort of day and a half. String Theory Studios. Hey, Carl. G'day, boys. Nice shirt, Dave. So there we go. Hopefully you're keeping well out there, buddy. Cool music from your side of things too. You've done a new track recently, which is very, very nice. Well done. Just for the record there. But all right, Dave mentioned we have a hot topic that's going to make him very, very sad. So we'll start with Dave very shortly. But in case you missed it, Aerosmith have announced their Peace Out Farewell Tour. As far as I can tell, this looks like the absolute end of the road for the band. I don't think there'll be any studio album or anything like that coming out afterward. There might be, obviously some from the vault kind of material or, live things and all that kind of stuff, but I don't think the band are going to get together and write and record a new album. And I think this is the farewell tour. I don't think it's going to come to Australia, but we'll see what happens in that regard. But Dave, I know you're a massive fan of Aerosmith, so give us your thoughts on this announcement. You and I were speculating behind the scenes about it coming up, but yeah, now it's confirmed.
Yeah. Goodbye, Springfield. I am really sad about this. For those who don't know, Aerosmith could have been my Guns N' Roses. They were just a couple of years behind. I mean, Pump came out 2 years after Appetite, and Get a Grip came out 2 years after Illusions. And for a young, impressionable metalhead like myself, Guns N' Roses got the prize, but Aerosmith were one of the first groups of bands that I first became infatuated with as a young boy, young, impressionable child, and it's obviously influenced my life greatly, but I absolutely love Aerosmith. I am a massive fan. Kiss are calling it quits soon, which is making me sad enough, but I've seen Kiss live. I never got the chance to see Aerosmith live, so I really don't think they're coming down here. I don't think health-wise and age-wise that they're able to travel too far. I think they can do their performances, but it's pretty much, well, it is all the US dates. They're not going to Japan, they're not going to Europe. they're not coming here. It's 40 dates. They're playing their hometown. Last date's on the 26th of January. I doubt they'll come back like Kiss have, or like some of the other bands. I mean, Ozzy Osbourne has says himself, fuck retirement. You know, retire from what? Rock and roll is not a career, it's a passion. If you stand, Ozzy's recently said he will go back out on stage even if they have to wheel him out in a wheelchair.
Yeah, which is remarkable. Yep.
Yeah. But just think about your average worker.
Yeah.
Retire. The next major step in your life is death. In a person's life, you retire from your career. That's it. And when you go to work, nobody gets up and cheers for you. That adrenaline rush you get when you step out on stage in front of a fucking stadium. Nobody wants to give that up. The mind is willing, the body isn't. And Aerosmith, I think the youngest one is in 71. Yeah. So, yeah, it's not looking likely, I think. I'm curious to see how these 40 shows go. And I know they've already started releasing live concerts on their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the drummer, Joey Kramer, is sitting it out. His wife has recently passed on. His health isn't that great, so he's spending time with his family, and deservedly so. He's got nothing else left to do. His drum tech is taking the skins for this, but Steven Tyler had his issues over the years, but he's still performing. They did a residency in Las Vegas the last few years.
Yeah.
Interrupted by COVID, but seeing videos from that, they can still go. They can still perform, so they might not have the energy, the stamina, or the consistency of being able to do a massive world tour. And I think they know that. Yeah. But yeah, we're coming up to that age where so many bands that we grew up with are calling quits. And, you know, everyone's criticizing Vince Neil's vocals, Paul Stanley's vocals, but they're just one person. You can't change, vocalists can't change his throat. Guitars can change their strings, and drummers can change their skins, but vocalists, but they're just one person in the band. So I don't mind a singer not being able to go to the level that they used to be, because I still get to see that band that I love when I was a kid.
I think unfortunately, you're upfront about it. I think that's the thing. If you're upfront that things aren't quite there, then that's cool. Yeah.
We can't turn back the clock, which really sucks. Mortality is coming for all of us, and all these scientists are focusing on all this AI and how you can recreate stuff. You can do the next fucking Kiss album, but man, they're still alive. Focus on rejuvenation and revitalization and turn the clock back, and the fountain of youth and everything. Save the originals. Don't recreate them. Just save the originals, because I would love for fucking 80s to come back right now. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen. There is a patch coming. Well, the battle jacket of Aerosmith with the wings. It's the purple logo on the pump. Took ages to find one, but I found one. Going on the back, underneath Appetite for Destruction. So that's the original group of bands are going on the back. I absolutely adore Aerosmith. I think they've had a remarkable career in 50 years. I think that the world would not be the same without them. The band that got it all, lost it all, got it all back, went on to achieve remarkable things within pop culture, not just within rock and roll. They transcended that a long time ago. And the world would not be the same place without them. It really would not. And I think we're not going to get a band like Aerosmith again. So the story's coming to an end, folks. Sad, but that's the reality.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Jeff? What do you make of it all?
Well, it's sad. I mean, I'm a huge Aerosmith fan as well. Been a fan, since Christ was a cowboy. Look, yeah, he was a cowboy. Did you not know? Yeah. Look, I'm old enough to remember when, Steve Tyler and Joe Perry were known as the Toxic Twins. Yeah, Toxic Twins. They were not expected to get out of the 70s, let alone the early 80s, alive. I mean, people thought, no, these guys are done. And I think for a lot of people wrote them off. By the time the mid 80s come along, Aerosmith was pretty much written off. And then they come up with this wonderful album called Permanent Vacation. And all of a sudden, their career just exploded again. Yeah. And they have been on, it's just been a straight ride to this day. Their career has just been going. So that's 35 years or more since that album came out. So that's an amazing. You call that a comeback, if you will. Really, it was. It was a comeback. It was the second iteration of the band, even though nothing had really changed from their perspective. They just had a hot album. There was some great songs on there. I think the movie Miss Doubtfire used some of their songs, and that propelled them.
Dude looks like a lady.
Yeah, Dude looks like a lady. That's right.
That was a lot later. That's a lot later.
Yeah, Wayne's World.
Yeah,
it might have been. It may have been, but it still helped propel them.
Absolutely.
Helping them up to another bunch of people that might not have listened to them. Like, who are these guys? That's a cool song. And Dude Looked Like a Lady was everywhere. It was on every radio station. Yeah. It was an absolute massive hit. So, may not be the best song ever made, but it got people.
A good one.
Who are these guys? And then they're like, well, they've been around for 25 years. Like almost at that point, they've been around for 20 years or something already. So, the fact is that they've gotten to this point. I think it's amazing. I've been a huge fan all my life, really. I mean, ever since I've been able to listen to music. So. Yeah, I'm going to be sad, obviously, when it's done. I kind of, part of me wonders if, with the recent things that have been going on with Steve Tyler and his escapades, where he, there's some things there that make me wonder maybe they don't really want to, who knows where that's going to go legally. Yeah. I don't want to get into, Dave already brought us down to the Debbie Downer side of things. So I don't want to get into the dark side but that's probably played some part in this story. Yeah, they're not getting older. I mean, how old is Steven Tyler now? What is he? He's got to be
71.
mid-70s. Is he 71?
Yeah. Okay. I think he's 71.
So the oldest guy in the band? He's got to be
75. The oldest.
75. Yeah. So, I mean, look, that's, unless your name is Sammy Hagar, that's pretty much the end of the road. 75.
Oh, yeah. Sammy's one of the rare ones, isn't he?
Yeah. Absolutely. He's probably one of my favorite, and he's still going at 75, so that's pretty amazing.
Steven Tyler's 75.
There you go.
Tyler is 75 years old.
So right up there in that same company. So look, people think, 75, but in 5 years, he's fucking 80. Have we ever had an 80-year-old rocker? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think
the way he performs on stage, man.
The Stones, but
Keith, the whole world is laughing at Keith Richards right now. But, but going to keep going, that bloke. Yeah.
That album there, Dave, hold that up. You got Permanent Vacation again? Hold that up again. Okay. See, I had that album when what they did was they reissued that album shortly after it was released. The original version, that logo was in red and it was almost obscured. You couldn't see it. So they had to go back and redo it and make it yellow.
Yep.
So that's I had the red version. I had the red version. So I remember that's how much of an original guy I was, because I was just like, it was another album.
That might be worth a bit of money.
Yeah, it's back in Canada now. I didn't bring it with me. I might have. I'll have to go through, because I did bring all my CDs out.
It'll be in the box with the bells, Jeff.
Well, when I came out here, right, I was like, there's no fucking way I'm leaving my CDs. So what am I going to do? So I'm like, these CDs was way too much. So what I did was I took them all apart, took the CDs, put them in a big case, and then all the album covers, I put them in another case and then threw away the Jewell cases. Because it saves so much weight. So I did. I'll have to look. I will. I probably do have it.
Wow. That'd be a story if you did.
I didn't think of it. Otherwise, I would have had it already. But yeah, you're right. It might be worth some money. Who knows? Look, I
just checked. Keith Richards at 79.
Are you kidding? He's 79.
Nah, Keith Richards.
Mick would be about the same, I think.
Yeah. They're going to outlive everyone, man.
78 or 79.
They're still touring. They're still touring.
When the Stones retire, Alice Cooper has said give him 5 more years. He refuses to let Mick Jagger beat him. So whenever the Stones either die or call it quits, then Alice Cooper will continue for another 5 years.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. It'll literally be welcome my fucking nightmare. Can you see that? I mean, fucking old skeleton coming out.
Alice just gets better with age.
He'll need less and less makeup.
I agree with you. Yeah, no, it's true. Alice Cooper hasn't. It doesn't even look like he's slowed down. Like,
no, I think it just shows. his show can cover a lot for him too, because he doesn't need to be a whiz-bang vocalist because he's the puppet master on the stage now. So his show covers for a lot of it. So he could well and truly do it comfortably.
He could do it.
Plus, he never did the falsetto shit, the high-pitched stuff, so he can just growl. And his voice sounds great. So he never blew his voice out.
Yeah. No, this is it. But, I digress. Look, Aerosmith, love them. I'm going to miss them for sure. But, every book has its final chapter. And obviously we're seeing it now. And it's a shame. But, look, at least they're retiring and they're going out gracefully. And they're not just like dying and done, So they're still going to be alive. And who knows if you're live, who knows what will happen. Maybe they'll
release more concert footage. I love concert footage.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will.
So where there's life, there's
Alice
options.
Cooper's 75.
There you go. Right.
Oh wow!
I hear Homer's voice in my head. No way, man. We're gonna keep on rocking forever.
That's right.
Forever. Yeah, I remember watching an interview years ago with Ozzy, and Ozzy was saying he was going to be the first 50-year-old rocker. That's literally what he said. He says, "I'm not quitting. I'm going to be the 50-year-old rocker." I'm thinking nowadays it's like, are you kidding? 50?
Yeah, exactly. Like young these days.
If Ozzy makes it to 100, I'd be impressed.
Yeah. Well, he just might. So you never know. But anyway, that's my story. Aerosmith, I'm sad. I hope they keep going, but obviously they're not. Like all good things come to an end.
Yeah.
And that's it. So,
but you, Conrad, any thoughts on this?
I think they'll do like the odd show here and there. They'll probably do the odd occasional show.
Maybe another residency,
Full scale touring, no, but
yeah.
I can see them doing the odd sort of show occasionally. And maybe playing like maybe one song at Super Bowls or whatever. That sort of thing. And maybe like a Vegas style, like a stage show, like a theater show.
I can see like a residency set up for them. Yeah,
a residency where maybe they don't perform themselves, but you'll have people doing an Aerosmith show. The same will happen with Kiss.
Yeah, exactly.
In years to come, people will go to Vegas to see the Kiss show, and it'll be people playing the parts of Kiss. And I think for Aerosmith as well, are another one of those bands that could very well have that sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
And there will be, these bands. I think there'll be like other people just playing those roles.
Yeah, it'll become a branding thing that'll become almost like the.
And then you just have you have a revolving cast over the years. You have people performing. I think they'll fall into that category. Yeah, because they are a legendary band.
They are.
Yeah,
I mean, where would glam music?
I've seen them 3 times now.
Wow,
I got to see them 3 times, and they were great.
No, I've never seen them either.
I got to see them at where was it? It was Monsters of Rock '94 at Donington, and I got to see them at Wembley Stadium with Lenny Kravitz and the Black Crowes. That was a killer gig. That was awesome.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, and I think again at Download Festival another year. So fortunate enough to catch them. So they're really good. Yeah,
it's amazing.
They're always good.
Anything else there?
No, that's it. Just I mean, I think that's what'll happen to them is they'll, as I said, like a show sort of thing will be created.
You also got to give Steven Tyler special credit for giving the world Liv Tyler. She's a fucking fan.
Yeah, you're right. What's true?
No,
I mean,
I'm not disagreeing.
In Lord of the Rings, where she's got those pointy ears, they're good to.
Arwen.
Oh God,
Dave's got a point. She's cute.
No, so does she apparently.
Yeah, two of them. Yeah.
Dave's giving himself a point thinking about it. So
into OnlyFans.
It's a good thing that Dave is wearing pants apparently tonight. But anyway, so for me, it is what it is at the end of the day. I mean, the band haven't released a studio album since 2012. Their touring schedule has been hit and miss. I mean, we all know the dynamic is interesting within that band, to say the least. So they kind of function for a little while, then they go their own separate ways, and they function for a little while and go their own separate ways. And I think they just gone, okay, this is enough. It's one more sort of last hurrah. I don't think it'll go outside of the US. If it does, it'll be relatively regional. I think it's one of those things where people want to go and see them fly over. It's about the only chance you're going to get.
Yeah, I'll probably do festivals, headlines.
It might go to Canada as well. You know,
they might, like they could do the continent, but I don't think they'll go across different continents. And I don't think Europe's going to get it, which means I don't think Australia's going to get it. Be nice if they did, but I very much doubt it. Now,
they were going to tour here a while ago. It didn't sell.
They were.
It didn't sell. I hate to say it, but people didn't. It did not sell, and that's a sad, tragic case for Australia. They weren't
we are a very fickle bunch. I'll put it.
They are. I hate to say it, it's true. Australians are really difficult audience.
We're fickle,
very, very difficult audience. Marketing.
Everything's tough at the moment too, and that makes it harder with the context of what's going on in touring in general at the moment as well. But for a band like Aerosmith, you can't help but just sort of sit back and admire the legacy they're going to leave behind. They're going to go down as one of the greatest bands of all time, whether you love them or hate them. They're going to go down as one of those bands that just cut through, and they were part of pop culture in many ways. Like when they reinvigorated themselves with Walk This Way. I know that Dave's not a huge fan of the Run DMC version, but what that did for that band and what it did for pop culture when it came to rock and rap, that was a huge moment.
Think about the very first of that.
Yeah.
Think about how different music history would be. I know that Dave's not a fan, but imagine, what different music history we'd have without collaborations like that, or Anthrax and Public Enemy.
Yeah.
It was a big moment, and so they one of the few bands get to claim those, benchmarks. Even things like that aren't on the album tracks, the soundtrack work they've done. Everyone mentioned other stuff, but things like Don't Want to Miss a Thing for Armageddon. That was another monster moment when that came out. It was everyone was playing that song and watching that video and stuff, and it's one of those, they just managed to hit the right sort of moment at the right time. And that's, you're lucky if you do it once in your entire career. And these guys did it a few times. And that's on top of everything else they did to each other and themselves along the way as well. Like Toxic Twins mentioned, they put themselves through the ringer. And they had some dud moments in there too. They weren't always firing, but they managed to come back and keep it going. So all the best to them personally. I get the distinct impression, and I'm glad if it is the case that they're not going to go and do a farewell tour this time and then 5 years later announce another one. They're not going to Fonzie it. They're just going to do it. So I think that'll be a good thing. I think that as a general context, I think if you're going to say it's a farewell tour, make it your fucking farewell tour. Not like Motley Crue and all the other ones. If you're going to go out, just say you're done. I think it's just taking people for a ride otherwise. But I think, Aerosmith.
I love the whole peace out thing.
Yeah, that's it. That's actually a very clever slogan.
I do work for the band.
It's a good way for them to sort of tie a bow on it all. I think, like I said, no album for a while. I think we got some, deep cut things that weren't released yet. There'll be plenty of, studio moments I've got down.
I noticed something. I was gonna, we were doing the Aerosmith albums for deep cuts. I noticed something. They've never released special edition box sets.
Yeah, so there'll be a lot of that coming.
It's never gone down that road. But because they had two main studios that they were signed to, but apparently just last year they're all with the one studio now. So we might start to see those collector's edition box sets, because they're sitting on a fucking archive of so many demo songs that never got, especially in the later albums, because they record twice as much that actually made it to the album from about
there's heaps of unreleased material. So I think that's definitely going to be happening in the near future. So yes, I definitely think we'll be seeing a lot more from them in that context. Who knows? Maybe we will see a new studio album. I doubt it though. But I think this will be it for the band, and all the best to them overall. But sad days like it is, but at the same time, it is just unfortunately the real world. It's just where we are in things, and a lot of our bands are going to be doing more of this as opposed to less of this as time goes on.
As sad as it is, it's cool to be alive at this point in time. We had these bands. So in like 10 years' time, kids are going to be saying, "Oh, I discovered this band, Aerosmith." We were talking before we went on stream. I was in JB Hi-Fi, and these two young kids were buying the Jimi Hendrix album. They were about 14. They're buying Jimi Hendrix on vinyl, and they know the song, so excited. They're going through the track list, and just like, Purple Haze and Stone Frame. It's like, I'm overhearing their conversation because we're standing in line for the checkouts. It's like, I'm fucking excited because these kids have got mallets. They're buying Hendrix on vinyl. And it's cool because we lived that time, and kids are going to be getting older and just like, well, they're going to be asking our generation,
Yeah.
what was it like to see these bands live? And
I
it's gonna
remember
be
when.
cool to share these experiences.
We get to be the cool old people, not the grumpy old people all the time.
But
Eventually.
that's a
I love
testament to
bands
great
from the
music.
60s and 70s. Everything from the fucking Who and the Beatles to Zeppelin and Aerosmith. And just meeting old people is like, oh, I saw Aerosmith at my school in 1974. It's like, and then they went off and did a television show, and then they went and played like they would play 3 or 4 times a day back in those days. Just hearing those stories from people who lived there, that's just going to continue.
Yeah,
So
the storytelling from generation to generation is going to go on for all time. That won't change. And now we have these things, the ability to do it will be even more.
That's right.
I hope young kids document their journey. They got it right in their hands.
So too. I think
it'd be cool to see. I discovered this album, Appetite for Destruction. I don't know if anyone else knows it. Because I felt old like 15 years ago when a workmate said, "Who's Axl Rose?"
Yeah,
like, are you fucking kidding?
Yeah.
The
thing is, I think that what we're talking about now is the reason. This is way off topic now, but I think this is the reason why the reaction videos are so popular as a general rule on YouTube. That's why they always go so well, because everyone likes to see someone else watch something for the first time. Or listen.
Because when you're out of the public eye for like 5 years, a kid growing up in that time, they're not going to know you, regardless of how big a rock star you were.
And because popular culture moves so fast now, I mean, think about what Stranger Things did for Metallica. Like, we all know and love Metallica, but think about the audience that introduced Metallica to via Stranger Things. Like, it just, there's always, and that's the same thing with Aerosmith before. Aerosmith did the.
They turned on him.
But it's yeah, I know it tried, didn't work. But think about how many people wouldn't know Aerosmith if it wasn't for I don't want to miss a thing either. Like, that was a window.
Exactly. And Run DMC 5 years earlier, or however long it was.
Yeah,
if you can find a way to break in the pop culture consistently, like Aerosmith did The Simpsons, Metallica did The Simpsons, so who did The Simpsons?
Yep.
It's pop culture.
Pop culture. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Comments. Chris says Jeff wins best T-shirt award tonight. So there we go.
Thank you. Thank you.
But here's
I'm going to fight Jeff on that.
He's bigger than you, Dave.
Fight myself. I'm conflicted.
Dave's going to do his own fight club when he has enough wine. So string theory. So Carl says new Divine Ascension album on the way soon. Ooh, super keen. Super keen. I think you made Dave was giving himself a point before. I think he just climaxed.
I'm holding back for Nightwish.
Oh, right.
Oh, baby.
Chris says, according to Hot Metal, Aerosmith is skipping Australia. Yeah, well, that's not really a surprise. Guy says, got the Pump tattoo. Saw him live in 2007-ish on a field. Poor sound. Did not like it. That's the unfortunate thing. If you got a bad experience, it can really diminish something.
At least you got to see them.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
I didn't
jealous. I didn't either.
I'm with you guys. I didn't get to see them at all. So I'm David says, Dave, well said. Great words, I believe, about your farewell to the band there. Vinny says, it's a sad reality that we're witnessing their mortality now, whereas growing up with them, they appeared invincible, especially those two guys. Like, they were impossible to kill. Chris says, we still have the albums, Dave, all the bootlegs and the memories as well, which is very, very true. I think we're getting more of that as well. Yeah, Dave's going through them now. Michael says, Steve Tyler has a very different approach to what he can deliver live and how often he can do it compared to some other frontmen. Quality. Yeah, quality is very important to that. And I think that Steven Tyler, if nothing else, the live reputation will be second to none as time moves on. Toxic Twins. Basher says, thanking Aerosmith for the great music, one of the best live concerts I've seen in 2013. So there we go, more love there. Permanent Vacation is a wonderful album from Guy there. It is a good album.
Yeah.
Joel, he says, Steve Tyler knew how to deliver. I remember when I saw Aerosmith, they rocked after hearing them on cassette. Still today, amazing. It would be wow. That'd be a blast. I remember going
like I said, Aerosmith was one of my first bands. This is back in the day of cassette recorders. And I used to record clips of music hits or whatever the fuck the show was called in like 1989. So I got Janie's Got a Gun on video, and I wanted to hear it on my Walkman. So I would hold the cassette player up to the TV. And record it onto the cassette so I could have it. This is why,
Dave. Yeah.
But, it didn't matter. If the quality was shit, you had the song. And that was just a different world back then.
The old game of trying to record a song from the radio without getting the ad at the start or the end.
Yeah.
That game.
Yeah.
And then your friend would say, I got a cool copy of it, and you copy it, and you copy it for another person.
Yeah.
And the quality would just deteriorate.
It would.
Yeah.
But
that's
cool. I used to do the same thing. As a kid. It's funny, recording like to the TV, right, with an old cassette.
Yeah.
I mean, this is totally off topic, but the classic show Doctor Who, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so Doctor Who, they went and they in their infinite wisdom, the BBC, in the 70s, the early 70s and late 60s, they needed space, so they were running out of room. So they didn't. There was no such thing as reruns back then. So what they did was they literally packed up all the fucking old Doctor Who shows and stuff, and they threw them out. They were gone. Yep. So to this day, there's like episodes missing, right? And so, but some of those real things ended up in all around the world, and people were, I found a copy in my attic, blah blah blah. And so, but they found that back in the 60s, there was a lot of kids that there was no such thing as a VCR back then, so there's no way of recording a TV show. But what they did was they were recording the audio and they were listening, and they were using this. Now the BBC's put out things saying, if you did this, send it in to us. And then they're recreating the episode because they've got this only version. They're adding animation and stuff. And that's so cool. These episodes, otherwise they'd be gone.
So many
forever.
lost episodes are coming out on DVD with the original audio, but with animatic designs to get these episodes out.
That's right. So it's pretty
like
amazing. I mean,
Blu-ray
obviously, it's a
hands up, who's a nerd?
Yeah.
Animation's a cool thing. I just got the announcement the other day or yesterday, I think it is, that Babylon 5 have a new animated movie coming in the near future, which is cool.
Yeah.
So it's like
I love Babylon 5. Oh,
Babylon 5 is fucking amazing. If you're into sci-fi, we're getting way off topic, but if you're into sci-fi, it's the best shows ever. We got from Aerosmith to Babylon 5. Anyway, back to Aerosmith for a second.
Only here.
You won't get this anywhere else. Chris says Aerosmith were totally unique compared to all their peers of any time in their career. Joe and Brad's guitar work was so unrock when it was actually broken down. It was just a unique band who always saw the mist. This is very true as well.
Yeah.
He says, at least they gave a killer asteroid an entrance theme into the World Wrestling Ring. So there we go.
They're one of the few bands that kept the lineup together all the way through, didn't they?
There was in the early 80s, they changed lineup slightly, but
but then it came back.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's not many bands like that.
No.
Very, very few.
What have they done to the glam? Like, what would glam have been without the influence of Aerosmith?
So many glam bands will reference Aerosmith because Aerosmith was glam before glam was cool.
Yeah.
They also had a bluesier feel to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So,
but even just the ability to put in that, you got the glam influence, but what they did with the honky tonk or the hillbilly side of their style of music too was just so well done as well. Like they had a lot more.
With the exception of the Rolling Stones, they're probably the very few bands that actually jam with all those old Delta blues bands, like Howlin' Wolf and fucking Muddy Waters. Now, Joe Perry would have hung out with those guys like Keith Richards did, but those guys are long gone. When Joe Perry's gone, that connection is gone.
Is lost, yeah.
Without those guys, you wouldn't have rock and roll.
Well, that's the thing. Cool. I'm going to go through some more comments quickly while I can. What do we got here? Vinny, Asteroid. So I'll go back to that. Guy says, I think Walk This Way with Run DMC relaunched them back in the mid-'80s. Exactly did.
It was needed. I don't like how they changed the lyrics to that song.
Oh, it makes sense.
As far as hip-hop goes, I don't mind Run DMC. When I'm really drunk, It's Tricky is on SingStar, and I can rap like a motherfucker, man. I used to work with this Sudanese guy.
When you're drunk, remember that.
I used to work with a Sudanese guy back in Big W days. I used to have the Phil crew over for parties and drunken barbecues. Then we get the SingStar out, and we do It's Tricky and White Boy Vanilla Ice and shit like that. But I would kick his fucking ass, and we were doing It's Tricky, and he's like, Dave, can you slow it down? Like, I can't fucking slow it down. It's SingStar. It's not goth rap. golf rap. It's fucking Run DMC. But it's tricky.
God.
It's fucking that's the shit right there.
Dave putting on his best fucking Vanilla Ice impression right about now.
I kick Vanilla Ice's ass, man. That's fucking hardcore shit. But yeah, they altered the lyrics for the Run DMC Aerosmith Walk This Way version, and it doesn't work. It clashes.
I think it works fine.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
Oh, what, dude? What?
Stop being so anal.
Have you met Dave? Anyway,
the original lyrics is backstroke lover always hide beneath the covers. He's talking about jacking off. But in the Run DMC version, it's backseat lover. Okay, if you're a backseat lover, you're not a high school loser. It doesn't make sense.
Dave, I think you're applying a little bit too analytical thought to a song written by people called the Toxic Twins.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah. You know how you're a big wrestling fan and you can suspend disbelief? Try that.
Yeah.
It might
wrestling is not rock and roll. It's as cool as rock and roll. But yeah.
Dude, what is not rock and roll about a kid who can't drive being a backseat lover? That's pretty fucking cool.
Dad, can you drive me to the make-out place so I can bang my girl in the backseat?
Or he stole the car. And don't forget, to in America, you get your license and drive a lot younger than you can in Australia. So
I think of that scene in Stranger Things where Max is driving the car while Steve's smashed out and pinned back. Who's driving?
No one. Especially not this show. What do we got here? So back onto things for a second. Guy was confirming that Tyler was 75, born in 48. Darren says Hagar is a living legend. Yes, he absolutely is. Keith was born in 45. So there we go. That's the thing there. Dave says Dwayne Eddy, 85, still going. There you go. Wow. Chris says, I remember 20 years ago, my mum talking about all her idols are passing away. Now I'm living her reality. That is going to be the same for all of us and generations to come after us as well.
I remember being a kid and saying these fucking, hearing like the adults saying these fucking bands won't last very long. There's just a fad. They're going to be gone in 5 years.
Things now. So
I hope fucking Cardi B's gone in 5 years.
Alrighty. Chris says, let's not talk about that one. Chris says Alice has 1 billion more chops than the Stones ever had. Fucking overrated hacks. Ouch.
Ouch.
That's
I like the Stones. I fucking love Cooper.
Yeah. Guy says my real middle name is Keith, named after him. Wearing the skull ring now. That's a cool touch, man. That's really, really nice. That's a cool little touch. Andrew says I'm hoping they
named after Rory Gulliver.
What was that?
Rory. He's named after Rory Gulliver.
Oh wow, cool. Nice. Cool.
Yeah, because Julia wouldn't let me name him Axel.
No shit, Sherlock. I don't blame her knowing you. So
it was Axel or Zach. Zach would have been cool, but no.
We've got the Zach.
Name people up.
Not for anything other than just they like the name. So that's it.
Hendrix would have been a cool name. She's like, that's the name. That's what you call a dog.
That's like Indiana Jones. Anyway, so fucking way off topic. Andrew says, I'm hoping they have the energy to do a full world tour because Aerosmith are a band I've regretfully not seen. There's a lot of us in that boat tonight.
Yeah.
Like, Jolie says the Coop rocked. Yeah, he's fantastic live. I have seen that one.
Fucking god.
Yeah. Chris says Steven Tyler needs to be set in bronze for the greatest lyrics ever penned. Pink. It's like red, but not quite. In the same conversation as how much love we're giving Sammy Hagar right now. Let's not talk about lyrics. So Vinny says Liv Tyler and Empire Records in that tartan skirt. Wowee. Well, yeah, there's a fair point there. That's Michael says Aerosmith way back was awesome. Not only did the band play live so good, in addition to an incredible voice, Steve Tyler's physical antics on stage, part singer, part circus performer, amazing. Yes, that is very, very true.
They released a video from 1989 that I was watching when we were preparing, and they did Dude Looks Like a Lady, and Steven does his run up the drum riser all around the back, comes back and just misses the what a funky lady part, and I start laughing. Rory's like, what's funny? He goes, he missed his cue. He's like, what do you mean, Daddy? So I run it back. I'm like, watch him. He's running, and he gets there, and you can see him. He's not going to make it, but he starts singing before he grabs the mic. So regardless of what antics he's doing, he knows where he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And who gives a fuck if he's on cue or not? It's rock and roll, man. It's not supposed to be perfect.
Very few
It's
can do it. I think Bruce
Yeah.
Dickinson's about the only other one I've seen with as much energy on stage.
Yeah.
So that's a unique skill to do that one. Carl has said when they appeared on The Simpsons and told Mr. Burns, "Go to hell, you old bastard." That may have been the greatest moment, I think. So there we go. Oh no, hang on. He's gone. No, wait, that was the Ramones. So there we go.
Yeah.
I think it was the Ramones.
I just realized I haven't seen the episode. I was looking through Aerosmith stuff on Wikipedia. Joey Kramer reappears on The Simpsons in a later episode.
Oh wow!
Did you know the scene where he's like, "Mrs. Krabappel, I need my drumsticks." There's an episode in season 25 or 28 or something where they go through all of Mrs. Krabappel's past lovers.
Wow!
And Joey Kramer turns up.
I haven't seen that one. Wow!
And she ends up married to Ned Flanders.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
That's fucking weird. But yeah.
Oh,
she got boned by Joey Kramer.
Well, there you go. I mean,
How's that?
to be
Slept
fair,
with the
in
drummer.
that
She didn't
universe,
get Steven Tyler or Joe Perry.
yeah, but in that universe, still a shorter list of who she didn't try to bone.
Yeah.
So that's the way it was. But that's cartoon.
This is your future. Wow. I should go
I know. Hey, at least you're not taking your kids to school, Dave. Carl also says they did the Flaming Modes episode, also highlighted their career. The Flaming Modes episode is an iconic piece of TV. Vinny says, and now let's look in Thor's fridge. So going through the kitchen.
I'm cooking. I'm actually doing some food. I'm cooking.
Wow. There we go. Enjoy.
Cooking with Thor. Oh,
Cooking
I would pay to watch this reality TV
on the
show.
Hard
Cooking
Rock
with
Show.
Thor.
We are breaking
with the
every
Avengers.
fucking wall. Oh my goodness.
I'm
So-
cooking as we speak. I've got to get out of the kitchen before Mum goes to bed. So
Right.
I've got to get myself fed when Mum goes to bed.
Chris says, can you imagine the retirement villages in a few decades with the hard rock and metal asses living in there? They're going to be raucous as fuck. Not only are we going to be annoying and drinking, we're also going to be deaf. So it's going to be madness.
Yeah. What's
so
that
you-
you say? Walk this way. It's going to be like high school because the fucking trance techno people are going to be there too. I'm like, turn that fucking shit off. Or
yeah,
smash
it'll be. It won't be gang bang in the old folks. It'll be gang fight. That's what it'll be.
Yeah. But
Chris
all the
says-
old manners that can take their teeth out and breathe through their nose with the oxygen, they'll be all hot and after the fights. So
Dave, you're getting ahead of yourself. So
I'm looking forward to retiring.
I can tell. Chris says there's something to ask people. What album would you like to erase from your memory and first listen to again for the first time? Yeah, that was something that Dave and I were talking about before. It'd be cool to go back to. That should be. We'll actually bookmark that topic and do it another time. What's an album? If you could go back and pick one album to listen to again for the first time, what would it be? That's a good question to ask. We'll do that later on. It's an interesting one. Basher says, was at a concert recently and talking about live concerts to a couple of young guys. Mentioned AC/DC or Bon Scott, and one replied he would give his left nut to see Bon Scott. I laughed. There's a lot of people that would have. I would have as well.
Yeah.
Guy says, used to record Monsters of Rock on WHS or VHS, I believe. So, yes. David says, the pause button is your friend in a lot of respects. Darren says, in a way,
the Ring.
yeah, in a way, Aerosmith evolved to a different style of band from Permanent Vacation. Many people I speak to love old school Aerosmith with the Saga and blues elements and cannot stand the modern stuff. I still think, I think both sides of them have their respective places in history. I think they're
The
fantastic.
new stuff doesn't erase the old stuff. So
No, it doesn't.
It's
Yeah, speaking of erasing, the guy's got NASA taped over the moon landing as well. So there we go.
a lot of Australian TV ended up in landfill when they made the Sydney Harbour Bridge. I heard that years ago.
That's true. Rowan says, Big B5 here too. Sad to hear that all the original CGI is lost, so they need to recreate it if they want to remaster the show. Yeah, that's a shame, unfortunately. Vinny says, detecting movement on Asgard, unsure if he's making supper or charcuterie boards. Chris says, I challenge Dave to an Ice Baby off now. That could be fun.
It's
video
on.
content.
If you got a problem, yo, I solved it.
Oh my. Dave, have another wine.
will.
Darren says it fucking works, Dave, you morbid bastard. Talking about the lyrics. So I agree. So there we go. Vinny says Dave's ranting again. Quick, grab the EpiPen. Bash says, did Aerosmith record their albums live? Early on, but not so much later. Dave is tipsy. And Woman of Flame. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us on Twitch. Lol at NAS taped over the moon landing. Yes, that is a good remark there. Chris says, Axel is the penultimate bogan's name for a staffy, only used when you have another staffy named Diesel. Good point, Chris. Michael says Tyler did a limbo competition on stage with audience members, got down to a few people, got down very low, then he kicked their ass and beat them. So there you go. He's kept himself in pretty good shape over the years. Vinny's where's Dave? Vinny says Flanders gave her his diddly. So that's oh fuck, here we go. Basher says there should be metal aged care facilities. Yes, there should be. Guy says he raised album and listened to the first time Puppets. There we go. And Sally's laughing at Dave's antics as well. Alrighty, time to do a quick recap because we are going to finish off our building of the supergroup of unique supergroups each from the big four of thrash. So Anthrax, Megadeth, Metallica, and Slayer. Those are the four bands we have to choose from. We've done everything except for vocalists. We've done drums, bass, rhythm, lead. Now it's time for the vocalists. And I should pull up the randomizer while we're doing this sort of stuff too, I guess. That usually helps us to do these kinds of things. But yeah, so in case you don't know, that's what we've been doing over the last several weeks is just once a week, just going through and picking those bits and pieces individually. But the rules were that you could only choose once kind of thing. So once a person was off the board, they were off the board for everyone. And you had to have at least 3 of the bands represented out of the 4 that were there to choose from. So you had to have a good cross-section. So it added a small element of strategy to what we were doing with this one as well. I did do a tally of things, but just before we get stuck into things and catch us up on that, Conrad, if you've got a moment, if you could build your own...
What's Conrad doing?
He's making
food, pizza.
Come back on the show.
Making a pizza.
It's
yeah, that was
doing his own brand of it. I don't know which. I don't know where the salami's coming from. But but there we go. But Conrad, if you could indulge us for a second here, if you had to represent 3 of the 4 of the big thrash bands, but have a bass, a drums, rhythm, lead, and vocalist, who would be your ultimate lineup? Because you went for the previous one, so let's just get you to give your own sort of personal super. Of course.
Yeah. Obviously Lombardo on drums.
Yep.
Lombardo on drums, and I think I'd have Trujillo on bass.
Nice.
And I think Hetfield on rhythm.
Yep.
Mustaine on lead.
Yep.
And have the pair of them sing trade vocals each.
Nice. Good call. All right. Cool.
That would be my ultimate. That would be a dream come true.
Nice. That would be a fucking cracking line, wouldn't it? Like that would be fucking amazing. So Chris says, hang on, need to get a new homebrew. We're getting there. Jolie says, yum to the food going on. Darren says, Thor's dropping the hammer. Asgard has a pizza chef. I've seen it all now from Vinny's. And Guy says, Lombardo, Hetfield, Burton, and Poland. That's a very nice choice as well. But we are in an interesting spot here because I've got to think about this a little bit and how we want to go about it with the other 3 of us here. Because if I was to rule out vocalists, people like Hetfield and Mustaine are already picked for their guitar prowess and not for their vocalist work. So I'm hoping you guys have vocalists in mind because everyone's got their 3 bands now. So that's all good. But it's going to be a race to see who gets to go first on this one, to see who gets to pick what. But before we get to things, I did actually tally up the scores, which is cool. So on the where are we at here? So on the rhythm guitar side of things, it was funny because Dave picked Hetfield, Jeff picked Mustaine, and I picked Scott Ian from Anthrax. And funnily enough, in the audience voting, Scott Ian was the most popular choice on rhythm guitar, which actually put me more ahead than I thought. But then when we came to the lead guitar side of things, Dave picked Marty Friedman, Jeff picked Dan Spitz, and I picked Glenn Drover. And Marty Friedman and Dave Mustaine were the only ones that got multiple votes, with Marty Friedman leading the way. So that put Dave out in front. So for our total scoring here, Dave is currently in the lead with 160 points. Jeff is on 110 points, and I'm on 140. So Jeff is at risk of falling behind. So he's probably hoping he gets the the first couple of rounds. But it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes because we're going to be choosing vocalists, but we can't choose people that have already been chosen before. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one correlates to how the audience vote goes as well. So it's going to be a really interesting way to sort of wrap this up at the end of proceedings. But without any further ado, let's get the I've got the randomizer set up so everyone can see who's going to be drawn out first if I get the right button. So let's see who gets to go first. Let me work. Hey. Oh, there we go. Dave.
Alrighty. Okay, so I get to go first. And I've got a pretty cool lineup. I've got Charlie Bonacci on drums. I got Jason Newsted on bass. I got Marty Freeman on lead guitar. And I got James Hetfield on rhythm. Now, this isn't really going to throw a spanner in the works for either of you two because I'm throwing a wild card into the mix. This guy fits into the story in two ways. Okay, when I say his name, if you know that band's history, you're going to know that he was almost a vocalist in one band. He was a
I know who you're
vocalist
going with.
Band. But I'm picking John Bush. He's got a fucking amazing voice. And on top of the four line, John Bush probably isn't going to come up. I'm not going to get points for it. But my lineup is fucking sick. Fucking John Bush. That's who I'm picking.
Nice.
Sound of White Noise is a fantastic album. And the stuff he does with Almond Saint, holy shit. I just wish growing up as a teenager they had a better record deal so their CDs could be in music stores. And I could have discovered them 30 years ago because they weren't around. They were on the radar. Yeah. John Bush.
Nice. All right. Well, Dave has got John Bush. That's off the board.
Stole my guy, Dave. Thank you.
Oh, wow. All right. So let's see who gets to go round two.
Cool.
I get to go. All right. So Jeff's going to be left behind here. So my next choice, I'm kind of glad I get to take this one because I'm going to take the only one that's. I was going to take John Bush as well. So it's funny how we've all sort of gravitated toward that one, which is kind of cool. But where are my fucking notes here? I wrote them all down. What the fuck am I doing here? In the absence of John Bush, I am going to take Joe Belladonna.
Nice.
That's my choice there. So
No, I didn't.
I have to choose.
I think he's underrated though. He does do some good
Effectively
stuff.
painted into a corner.
You are, Jeff. You are backed into a corner. I mean, there are options, but not many, and not many that are notable. So, with that said, I guess Jeff, let's hear it. What have you got?
Well, what's left? I mean,
There are backup vocalists, I guess.
yeah, backup vocalist. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's
Tom
it.
Array hasn't been taken yet.
Tom Array hasn't been taken. No, I know. He's really, I mean, he's great, but he's not exactly known for his vocalist prowess as a fucking singer, you know. But I mean, I
Was he
suppose,
fit into the lineup you picked, though?
so I mean, look, I obviously would have taken Hetfield if I could, but you stole him. Mustaine's gone because I got him, I think. So I didn't think of that at the time. I might have went another choice, but well, I mean, look. Metallica didn't have any other singers that I know of. Megadeth didn't have any other singers that I know of. John Bush and Anthrax, Joey Belladonna, that's pretty much it. And so what's left? Fucking Tom Araya. I'll give me Tom Araya. Come on, give it to me.
There we go.
I mean, you could have found someone that would do backing vocals, but they've all been taken as well, I think. So
yeah.
There was a time on stage where Metallica swapped instruments. James jumped on drums and Jason did guitar. And
Newstead got taken earlier as well, but Newstead got taken.
Lars sounds like a snare drum, but
so there we have it. That concludes that run of things there. So just to recap the vocalists here quickly, Dave got John Bush, I got Joe Belladonna, Jeff got Tom Araya. We'll be doing a post on this in the coming days for everyone to get their votes in, and we'll determine our final score on this one very, very soon.
Can I make a suggestion to that?
Yeah.
All right. So let's imagine. Now, this is not sour grapes. I'm not saying, okay, not at all. But imagine, like, do it like the sports teams. So when you finish last in any round, you get to pick first in the next. There we go. Yeah. That might have changed things a little bit.
I know what the next round is, so that's all cool.
Yeah. No, but I think that, because so random maybe to start, but then if you're behind, you get to go first. So that incentivizes the next,
Yeah,
Next
no,
time,
Right, just putting it out there. Just putting it out there.
hey, it's all good. We can definitely, and then we could even introduce things like, I don't know how we could do it, but eventually could do things like a pick swap at some stage as well to see how it could go down the line. We can expand on this one a fair bit, but but the idea that you've got there is actually a good way to do it. So yeah, if you're falling behind, or if you were the last pick last time around, then you can make it like they do things called a snake draft, where the person went last goes first at the second time around. So there's different ways to do it, but yeah, we can definitely convert start off random and then work out where the snake draft sits from there and move on from that point in time, which would be kind of cool actually. The lowest scoring person gets to go first, kind of thing, to get their pick. So yeah, that could make it interesting.
I just want to put that out there.
It's good to be kind to the less fortunate.
Oh, wow.
Says Dave. Dave had the fucking pick though, because Dave got Friedman for the lead guitar, which everyone that was like an extremely popular vote. And then he gets John Bush this time around, which would be kind of cool. But we'll see how things go with it. Okay. So just to quickly recap here on drums, I have Dave Lombardo. Dave has Charlie Benanti. Jeff has Nick Menza. On bass, Dave had Newstead. I had Rob Trujillo, and Jeff had Cliff Burton. On rhythm guitar, Dave had Hetfield. Jeff had Mustaine. I had Scott Ian. And then on lead guitar, Dave had Marty Friedman. Jeff had Dan Spitz. And then I had Glenn Drover. And then for vocalist, Dave has John Bush. I've got Joey Belladonna, and Jeff has Tom Araya. It's going to be really interesting to see how this goes voting-wise. Yeah,
sympathy vote. Come on, guys. Give me some love out there. You got to feel sorry for me. They gypped me. Come on.
All jokes aside, what a fucking pool of talent. Just those 4 bands alone. There was just a plenitude of fantastic musicianship, regardless of what instrument you like, or if you like vocals or guitars or bass drums. Fuck. Such a good lineup.
You can just throw them in a blender, and any version comes out. You're gonna have
combination of those.
That's right.
Yeah. And I will say that Kiko is just as good as Friedman.
Yes, Kiko was another popular choice out there.
I'm actually going to say Kirk Hammett, more fucking wah. I love the wah pedal.
It's funny, Kirk
strangulation of the cat. That's that.
Hang on, but to be fair, Kirk actually got a few votes, believe it or not. So yeah, there we go.
He did.
I don't know why he's talking so much shit recently. He's fucking good.
I think out of the first 3 albums, he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kirk Hammett's better than Dan Spitz, that's for fucking sure.
But I had no choice but to take Dan Spitz. Come on.
Jeff,
you took Marty Friedman. Yeah,
Jeff, have you heard Portals, Kirk Hammett's solo EP?
Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Really good. Yeah. You know why it's good? Because it doesn't sound like Metallica. That's why it's so good.
Yeah. Well, there we go. All right. Carl says Joe Belladonna sounded great on the last couple of Anthrax albums.
Yeah.
Rowan, we're keeping an eye on that, just so you know. Vinny says, keep it down. I'm trying to watch the cooking streams.
Yeah.
Guys,
the drinking stream.
Yeah. But here we go. Chris says John Bush wins always. Check out his version of 4 Horsemen from the 30th anniversary show. Is incredible.
I love those 30th anniversary shows, man. That was a fucking great week. Because I downloaded all 4 shows and it was driving back and forth from work listening to those. That was, those 30th anniversary shows are fantastic.
Yeah.
They should be like officially released because they're only available on the bootleg circuit or the official download, but just released like they would have filmed.
Oh, there'd be something out there for sure. That'll definitely see the light.
Well, the bootlegs are out there.
Yeah, exactly. Which means it'll get some sort of release at some stage.
Everybody remotely involved with Metallica over the previous 30 years at the time was on stage. Aussie Ron McGovern, the old bass player, fucking King Diamond, Jason
Lloyd Grant,
Dave Mustaine.
Yep. Everyone.
Dave Mustaine on stage with Kirk Hammett and trading vocals with James Hetfield for Phantom Lord.
Yep.
Fucking great. What am I load now? Forget about Nightwish, but
which is fitting with this comment because Bash is saying decorum, please. That ain't going to happen. Guy says 2 Kerry Kings equal 1 Hetfield. I don't even know about that, to be honest.
2 Kerry Kings is the 16th of a Hetfield.
Yeah, well, Chris has a plethitude. Some plethitude of artists.
It's a good word. It's a good word.
It's a good word. Yeah.
It's a good word. Rowan asks, hope you're going to do album cover artists as well, which would be interesting to
That's cool.
Album
Let's
cover
get
artists.
some love for a cover. Yeah, I like that.
Album cover artists
cool.
could be interesting. Guy's gone, is Jeff digging up bells? So that'd be an interesting one there as well for everyone to.
Oh,
to find out about.
Funny Bell was on a stream like we did.
I
the
should
top
say
one.
that. Cooking with Conrad, bells, yeah, everything.
Bells with Bell.
Drinking with Dave, cooking with Conrad, ringing a bell with Jeff.
I'm going through album covers. I'm trying to find that fucking
Yeah.
Aerosmith thing. I've got like so many of them.
Wow.
Anyway,
Okay. Yeah.
I'm-
Michael saying awesome call for Rowan with the and then Chris goes in add an extra round producer. That's a good point too. We could add an extra round producer as well. So that could
Anybody but Rick Rubin.
well,
Yeah, he's Rick Rubin is really stale. I don't like his prediction.
no, not ideal. I didn't like what he did with Jeff.
It does on a bit more properly.
Yeah.
He sucked balls.
Or even on Black Sabbath 13 was really
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
he didn't really capture. I don't think he captured Black Sabbath the way they needed to be captured. But hey, the album did well. It went #1. So
Yeah, 13
what
was
do
great.
What do I know?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? Vinny's gone. It's all happening. A glimpse into the metal retirement village. So that's us here. Fleming Rasmussen is a good producer. So that's Chris says Danny Huff did Cryptic Writings of Bob Rock. That's an interesting choice there too. So we could do a producer round, and we could do a producer round. We could. I didn't even contemplate that, but we could add a producer, add album art, and then see how we go from there. So we could do that actually over the next couple of weeks, and then really round it out. That'd be an interesting little way to top it all up, get our lineup, and then go nuts. That's actually a cool idea.
That's a cool idea. Pick the best album art from those bands and the producer. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I reckon we can do that. All right, cool. We can continue on with that one then, and then our next. Just so everyone knows, I do plan to make Glam the next series. But I've got a way to make this one work. So I've got to try and bring it down to 4 bands. So there's going to be a lot of audience polling involved when it gets up to that point as well. That's all coming in the future. All righty.
So Conrad, you're in New South Wales, yeah?
Yeah, I am at the moment. Yeah, I'm in
So I can't come along for a slice of pizza.
My cold, nothing wrong with cold pizza, man.
Dude.
Sorry?
You're making him
I'm
hungry.
hungry. I want some pizza. My local pizza shop's closed, man.
Smell-o-vision now. That's what we need. That'd be good.
Oh, people are enjoying the Glam idea. So Chris saying Glam, yes. So is Mal. So we're getting a lot of love for the Glam stuff. Chris says, who is cooking at 10:30? Thor. Don't mess with the God of Thunder. He'll cook whenever he wants.
Fucking Glam. That's what we want. More Glam.
All right.
That's good.
How much further away are you, Conrad, do you think, from being able to sit down for a second? Because we're about to do the concept album battle. So
I can do this like this. Yeah.
okay.
Oh man,
Cool.
we just created a new cooking show. Debating hard rock with cooking.
And Michael's asked, no Aldi's pizza, Dave. That's what you should do. You should have some of those in the freezer. Dave's face. For those that aren't watching, he's like, oh my God.
And you know what? That works so well because
Aldi wine.
This is for cooking. Jewell gets pissed off when I finish off the cast wine. He says, it was for cooking. Where the fuck is the wine? I'm just like, look on YouTube, there's a whole bunch of evidence. But if I'm cooking pizza with wine,
Thank you for the excuses here. Chris says cooking pizza in the skulls of my enemies. And Vinny says quick and easy meals with Thor. So there we go. All righty, let's get to the climax of the episode as we go.
Oh, climax! That's a good word.
It's one of Dave's favorites. All righty, so
I love a good climax.
Chris says, I deglazed a fuck ton of onions, Dale. So there we go.
Nice.
Nice. All righty, so in the comments, we're going to put a couple of links in now. One for the Who, the other one for Nightwish. They're both in there now. So before I do that, the guy says instant dinner for the man in the cave. Well, yes, there we go. That's what we should have. But yeah, so the album battle this week is the first round of our concept album series. So King of the Riff concept album edition. The King of the Riff this week around is going to be the Who with Tommy versus Nightwish Imaginaerum. Or Imaginarium. I don't know how the fuck you pronounce that thing. It's just like whatever.
Imaginarium.
Yep.
Imaginarium. Okay, cool. It just sorry, before we get stuck into it, the spelling versus the pronunciation, fuck off. Like just...
Okay. It was
I know.
the Robin Williams, yeah, they had to change the spelling because there's another movie called that. And they're releasing a complimentary movie along with the album.
Yeah, they did, yeah. I understand why, but it's just like, nah, fuck. That's all.
Yeah. It's a pain.
It's a pain in the ass. But yes, Imaginarium from Nightwish is going up against Tommy from The Who. That is our King of the Riff concept album, round 1 edition. Quickly here, Jolly's gone. Did Jeff find what he was looking for? Jeff, did you?
No, it's probably in another fucking box somewhere. I knew where that one was, so I'm like going through everything I have. And the good news, I found all my Rush covers. That's cool. Yeah,
that sucks.
I'll find it. What sucks that I'll find it, or
no,
I found all my Rush covers.
Rush.
No, here we go, Dave. We're going to get to you in a second. Alrighty. So that's the premise. You know the deal by now, folks. If you're paying attention, one album goes through to the next round. One album is knocked out of the competition. Now, again, with all these things, we polled the audience to seed things to get a top 10 from the audience. So we ranked them by seed or popularity. So in the event of a tie, the highest seed will go through to the next round, just in case, because there are 4 of us. It could potentially be a tie. So in the event of a tie, there we go. There's more pizza porn for everyone at home. Dave's like struggling right now. Dave is struggling. Well done, Thor.
We're friends.
No one gets between Dave and his pizza. All right, now, so we've got. So the deal is we polled the audience, we gathered the votes and got the top 10 concept albums from the audience polling point of view. And then from there, what we did is we top by popularity. And then after that point in time was said and done, we started breaking into brackets to go on. Like I said, the loser of this is knocked out. The winner goes on to the next round. And what happens is that this is not a contest at what is shit, what is not shit, all that kind of stuff. They're all great albums because they're all very popular and well-loved albums. It's a case of us going through what the audience go through, and picking what we think are our top albums as we go through this process to keep things moving along. So, without any further ado, I know there are some audience comments coming through. I will get to those because people are already casting their vote in the comments. But before we get stuck into it, we'll get stuck into it. We're going to start with Jeff this time around. Jeff,
oh wow,
which album wins for you in this one?
Well, this was a tough one because obviously, I'm a fan of The Who, and I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan of The Who, but I certainly respect them and, have listened to them over the years. And Tommy, of course, is one of those albums that, it's a classic. It will always be considered a classic. It's one of those albums that I don't think would have been like the go-to album for a lot of people, but there's certainly songs on there, and just the concept of the concept album of what it is. For the fact that it's a concept album, it's great and deserves to be on this list. Then, of course, there's Nightwish, and there's guys. Oh, the movie Nightwish.
Wow, there we go.
Yeah. Exactly. There we go, man. Here we go. So, I couldn't find my CD of it, but I found my movie, so I was like, I grabbed that.
Nice.
I love this album. I'm a big fan of Annette Olsen's singing, and she came along and she replaced the irreplaceable Tarja, and she did an amazing job. I think when they picked her because they went with the opposite. Tarja being an actual classical opera singer, and then to get just like a sort of almost like a rock singer, really. And with nothing, like there's no pedigree there, and to be able to fit in and do the music that they've done and write the songs that they wrote. Big fan of that. And I still think Dark Passion Play is one of the all-time great albums from anybody. It's just a fucking awesome album. And this, of course, is no exception to that as well. It's a beautiful album. And so if I had to choose between Tommy, which album, or Imaginaerum, which album am I going to listen to more often? Which one am I going to reach for and spin? No question, it's going to be Tommy. No, it's Imaginaerum. It's Imaginaerum. So
the bait and switch.
I'm gonna go with Imaginaerum just because it's got more listening power. It's got that. There's just something there, and Tommy's Tommy sort of demands your attention more. I think Tommy is one of those albums that if you're gonna listen to it and get into it, you sort of need to follow along and you got to pay attention. It's something you listen to with headphones and you just sort of that sort of thing. It's not something you break out with your friends over beers. It's just not something you're going to do. No. Where Imaginaerum, it certainly could, absolutely. Because even though it is what it is, as far as like concept albums, it's it doesn't individually. The songs all work by themselves. That's what's good about it, I think. So, my vote goes to Imaginaerum. So if I had to choose, that's where it's going to be.
All right, cool. That's one down. Dave, which way do you go?
Okay. Duck and cover, people, because I'm going to bust a fucking nut. Okay. Now, what? For those who tune in regularly, we don't talk about the Who all that much, but I am actually a massive Who fan. I love this fucking band. I went through a huge Who phase in the early 2000s. But for those who do tune in regularly, they obviously know I love Nightwish. Now, at first, these two bands and albums might seem like an odd pairing, but it's actually an interesting contrast between the two decades and styles. There's a few similarities, but I made notes, and I made notes when I was sober, so this is going to be interesting. But it's actually kind of painful because obviously I'm going to go with Nightwish. And I truncated these notes into one page, believe it or not, because we've never reviewed Imaginaerum. And for context, this album, Imaginaerum, has given me goosebumps for the entire runtime. No band, no album has done that before. Not Guns N' Roses, nothing.
Wow.
I fucking adore this album. This could be my Desert Island album. But there is a lot of similarities between Tommy and Imaginaerum. Both cover childhood and loss of innocence. There are some screwball moments in both, like Tommy's holiday camp with Keith Moon, the Loon, and the demented Humpa Circus, demented nightmare in Scaretale. And Tommy does go into the abuse and neglect, whereas Imaginaerum covers life struggles in general and internal conflict and reflection, and from a character's from an aging composer's deathbed, looking back over his life. Both are significant works of art from their generation, genre, and in the band's career. Tommy put the Who back on the map. They were kind of struggling at the time. Imaginaerum took Nightwish to an even higher place. Tommy is a more straightforward narrative with an obvious protagonist. Tommy. Imaginaerum doesn't name the protagonist at all. It's an unnamed dying musician on his deathbed thinking back over his life, from childhood all the way through to old age, through the inevitable last ride of the day. If you're familiar with the album, you'll know that reference. Even death can be exciting if you're willing to experience everything that life has to offer. While it does take place inside the nameless character's mind and ventures into the fantasy realm, it covers decades in the person's life, which you can relate to whatever age you're in at your own personal life when you discover this album. Tommy also covers decades in the person's life. So regardless of how different and how many decades between these two bands, they're not all that different. Both are remarkably well done, and both have been adapted into a movie. both were large projects to record. Imaginaerum has 80 tracks of percussion alone. Tommy,
wow, I didn't know that.
Tommy was recorded on an 8-track by contrast. They both achieved remarkable results for the end product. The songs on Tommy went through various re-recordings to get songs right because they were rewriting and rewriting throughout the process.
Yeah.
When Nightwish did Imaginaerum, the band had to take jazz lessons to do Slow Love Slow because it was a style that the band was unfamiliar with. But it works perfectly. I like to refer to that song as nightmare jazz because it fits into the whole dream-like.
Yep.
Tommy was released in 1969, a couple of years after the Beatles did Sgt. Pepper, which is also on this list. I'm going to digress a bit. There are 10 awesome albums. Every one of the 10 albums on this list that we're doing in the next few weeks, every one of them deserves to be number one. So this is going to be fucking painful. And while obviously I'm going to go with Nightwish tonight. There's no fucking spoiler there. I love this band. I also love The Who. Okay, but we wouldn't be talking about concept albums if it wasn't for Tommy, if it wasn't for Sgt. Pepper.
Good point.
I would love to get to a point where we compare Sgt. Pepper with Tommy. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm going to be hurt if Imaginaerum doesn't go through, but I'm also going to be kind of glad because we could get Tommy versus Sgt. Pepper. Yeah. I love music history. I could go all the way back to the fucking 20s with the old blues guys. But, thinking back to Tommy, this has aged remarkably well. And going through some of the ideas that Pete Townsend had for making Tommy, he was sick of the confines of the 3-minute pop song. Even in 1969, he was fucking over it. I'm over it now, but that's the shit that still charts. People have the attention span of a fucking doorknob. I like 20-minute songs. Give me something. Fucking explore what you come up with. Don't just come up with a riff and think that's your fucking song. You can do so much with a riff. Cut a note out. Expand it. Do what Dream Theater does. But Pete Townsend wanted the songs to work on their own and to be part of an album. That's what I rate a concept album on, whether they work as part of the album and individual songs. But obviously, Nightwish is gonna win, simply because this album hit me on a personal level when I heard the album itself. I love the songs. I love Nightwish, but that's just amplified everything to their 10th degree. Whatever they've done to this point, and I can't think of another band that's done 7 albums and got consistently bigger and better with each album, in spite of lineup changes. I don't think this album could have been done with Tarja. But as Jeff pointed out, this movie, I'm gonna just be completely honest. When I first saw this movie, when it finished, I just stared at the TV, at the blank screen, for a few minutes. I'm like, I think I'm gonna fucking cry. And then like Jade, my daughter, she was 1 or 2 years old at the time, and I just went and I watched her sleep a little while. Nice. And I'm just like, I got this weight was just relieved for me, and I just had this smile on my face. I'm just like, it's gonna be okay. And if you've heard the album, there's like a spoken word poetry part at the end. Yeah. And if you know Dark Passion Play, Thomas was in a really dark place at the time. And when he came to making this album, it's just like he dealt with his shit and then he paid it forward. It's just like when you were in high school and there was that person in the corner that wasn't even worth making fun of, that you never spoke to. This album is like going up to that person and saying, hey, dude, want to hang out? What's happening? Yeah. What's wrong? And it's like, it's like, it's caring about another person that you don't give a fuck about, but you just suddenly feel like you want to be a better person by including them in your life. And if you've gone through darkness in your past, when you see the movie, you understand this. Like, you can be a better person by letting go, because that shit is gone. And that's like I said, that weight was lifted from me, because when my daughter was like little, I was new to being a parent. I didn't really know how to do that role, and I'm constantly learning. I'll be learning for the rest of my life how to be a parent, because she's going to change. I'm going to change. So this album had a massive effect on me. And like I said, this album's given me goosebumps from start to finish. It is an absolutely fantastic piece of work. And as much as I love The Who, as much as I love Tommy, I'm going to have to go with Nightwish, because fuck, I don't know how another musician can convey that in much astute observation of the world, of people, of internal conflict, of internal thought. It's just a remarkable piece of work, and I'm glad I discovered it when I did, because it's made me a better person. And not many albums can do that for a person.
Yeah, that's impressive. Well,
Can I just say, Dave, that was probably the best review I've ever seen you do. Congratulations. That was awesome.
Agreed.
Yeah,
That was fantastic.
I just try and be honest, man. That's what I've always done in the last 10 years of doing this. Music means the world to me, and if I can connect with people with whatever art they're putting out into the world, I think that's fantastic.
I'm timing it. I know exactly when it's coming out.
Yeah.
I'm about to grab it shortly. Another 5 minutes.
Pop that, Conrad.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The gauntlet was thrown down, Conrad. So I guess we will throw to you now. Which way are you going to lean on this one?
I'm going to go for Tommy on this.
Yeah, okay. Make it interesting. Nice.
I only recently listened to both these albums this week.
Yep.
I gave them both a listen, and I think Tommy just it flows better. I think it flows a lot better and a lot smoother. It's not as complicated a story to follow. I found Imaginarium a bit more of a complicated story. Okay. Tommy was a bit easier to understand, and I just think that the song flow was a bit better in that respect. I think musically, probably I would identify more with Nightwish musically, because it's closer to my age sort of bracket. Yeah. I think maybe if you're a little bit older, you might appreciate Tommy more so than I do. But it was, as listening to them both, they're very, very different beasts. But at the same time, also there are some similarities, and it has that musical vibe, to that live stage musical vibe to it. Both of them do. So musically, I'd say maybe that Nightwish, with the arrangements, with obviously the orchestra and things like that going on, it's quite more complicated and grandiose. Yeah. I found them both very pompous and incredibly pompous, but we're
gonna get a bit of that, I think.
I think Tommy, it had a musical Broadway vibe to both of them, which I just can't get on board with that at all. Wow. But I did enjoy Tommy more so in the way it flowed. I think it flowed better.
Okay.
And that's why I'm going with that. And I also enjoyed the drums of Keith Moon a lot as well.
Yeah, well,
his drumming was exceptional. It stood. Yeah, I don't know. It just grasped me. It grabbed me more. It grabbed me and it pulled me in more.
Oh, cool.
Than Imaginarium did.
Yeah.
But musicianship, Imaginarium is great. I didn't know Annette did this one. I've seen all three singers with Nightwish now.
Wow.
And Annette was a great presence. She had a great presence. She might not have been able to deliver like Taja or Floor, but she had a great presence.
Correct.
Floor's got it all.
Yeah,
got
she
the
really
presence
does.
And the great voice. Whereas
And
Taja was Taja's a stuck-up bitch.
I was pissed because I had tickets to see Nightwish. And Floor took over from Annette like a month before. And I'm like, who the fuck is Floor Jensen? Now, unlike a lot of people, when Annette took over from Taja, I liked her, but she copped a lot of shit. She got a lot of hate.
She did.
So I'm just like, who the fuck is Floor Jensen? But then I saw her at the Palace, and fuck, she won me over in like 5 seconds. She is an amazing singer, an amazing performer. She's like Conrad said, she is the best of both worlds. She has made Taja's songs her own, and she can do Annette songs, but fuck, I can't think of another band that's survived 2 front singer changes and gotten better and stronger throughout the whole.
I'm just gonna grab my pizza at the oven.
I mean, Van Halen couldn't do it, so
don't let it burn.
I'll be back.
Don't let it burn. Cool.
Gary Sharon.
Yeah, Gary Sharon. Well, that's how it was for for Annette coming into an established band.
And she copped a lot, mate.
She copped a lot of shit. So did Gary. But in Gary's defense, most of those songs were written before he came into the band. Yeah, and he just didn't fit. Whereas
same thing happened in Iron Maiden, really. when they got Blaze. Yeah.
I'm a big
like the
Blaze
X
fan.
Factor.
I love Blaze. I like Blaze, but that's just me. I'm a weirdo.
no,
I think Blaze brought something to Maiden that was kind of needed. Blaze sort of took in some ways he kind of went back to the Paul Di'Anno sort of sound. And I love Paul Di'Anno.
I can give it a pass on the first album. The second album, no.
Yeah, Virtual 11 sucks, but the X Factor, that's a dark album for a dark time. Mid-90s, Steve Harris was going for a divorce and his father died. You want that you're going to get dark art from dark
like the
time.
Angel and the Gambler. That's a shit song. I agree.
Yeah,
but Future Real. That's a kick-ass song. That was on there.
No,
anyway, we're getting way out of again.
We're in the weeds again.
Live. Like the Sign of the Cross done by Bruce Dickinson on the Brave New World tour. Fuck, it's so good.
Dave is just like fucking scattergun all night tonight. It's like, I'm all over the place.
Apologies for disappearing. Sorry.
Look, it's funny you didn't miss anything, Conrad, because we went on a complete tangent. All right, so when it comes to these albums, we are looking at two very different times in music. So Tommy came out in 1969 and Imaginarium came out in 2011. There's a fair bloody gap there, 40 odd years. 42, if my math is correct. Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to
apologies. So yes, Tommy wins my vote.
Yes, yes. No, we grabbed that one. Very cool. Thank you. That actually makes it interesting. It means that it's not a fait accompli as I jump in now. When it comes to Tommy, it's actually aged sonically incredibly well, like remarkably so. Now, I'm not a huge fan of, not that I don't like them or anything like that. It's just a case of they're not bands that I've spent a lot of time on, either of them, as far as I go into things. Now, I think that the music, the sound of Tommy has aged well. I think story-wise, it hasn't aged as well as I would like it to have aged. But that said, it was an album purely off the time, which is not a bad thing either. Like I said, it's time stamped. Yeah, it's an odd album. It's time stamped, but it's in all the classic and retro kind of ways that you liked, or you do like when it comes to these sort of things. It's got a vintage to it, which is good. It actually feels like, getting into a classic restored car kind of thing versus, getting into the junker. It actually, it feels and sounds good to listen to it. The use of diversity in the instruments across the album was a really good thing. I loved the mix, the panning in particular stood out to me. It's funny how Conrad said the story or the album maybe flowed for him better than Imaginarium, but for me, the story, the concept of the actual thing itself didn't flow as well for me on Tommy. For me, listening to it took a few listens to get the context. And it's funny because when you dig deeper in trying to get your head around what they're going for here, you feel those missing chapters more when you know what the overall story was like fleshed out to be versus what you get in the album. For me, listening to it, it's an interesting one where it's like that whole Nine Inch Nails Closer video where the scene missing thing comes into play. It's like that's what this album feels like to me in a few respects. Not in an overall negative way, but it's a comment on the execution of it. Now, there are great performances, great music across this one. The lyrics themselves are really well done. It just needed that bit of, like, you leap about. Like, it feels like you're on the outside of an inside joke when you listen to the album sometimes, which is a bit sort of disconcerting. It's dark. Some of it's actually quite disturbing, and would probably these days come attached with trigger warnings, to be blunt, on what it goes into. Like it's really bleak. It's not a happy story at all. It's
but it's not meant to be.
No, and I get that, and that's the art form of it, and it makes you to listen to an album and you sit there and go, I feel kind of sick listening to this. That's doing its job. Like, it's actually doing what it's intended to do. Yeah. So
fiddle about section that's not an easy listen.
No, the uncle and the and the cousin, like, this kid had a fucked up family. Like, what the fuck? But the problem,
it was more common than people knew back then.
No, and it is more common than people realize even today. That's why it's still a relevant album in that context.
That's
it's just
right.
that it was,
and it makes people uncomfortable, and that's the way it should be.
And
it forces conversation.
Seriously, if we get to a point where those topics are comfortable, we're fucked. Like
exactly.
that should be, viscerally damning that someone does that sort of stuff. Now, it's a really interesting way it was all put together in the way it was done in that regard. Like I said, disturbing. We'll probably go with trigger warnings these days. You go from Uncle Touchy though to pinballs in a minute flat, which is what the fuck? Like that to me was just like, hang on, how do we get from down go the bedclothes, up goes the nightshirt to the kids playing a pinball machine? Like I didn't have the context needed. The opening of the story, when you dig into it, like the reason why, spoiler alert, folks, if you haven't heard it yet, the reason why Tommy is, not in tune with the world is because he sees his biological father kill what amounts to his stepfather at the start of the story. But that's not explained at all in the actual narrative. So he's sitting there going, okay, that's why I feel like there's chapters missing in this one. Where the fuck did Sally come from? Like that just came out of fucking nowhere. Like, fuck.
Surprise!
I know, like and she's obsessed with him because he's now a reverend figure. It's like, what the hell? It can also be a little bit long-winded at times. I think the closing track in particular, it's a damn good album. I'm nitpicking because I have to, because these ones are always hard. So you have to find the faults. You have to actually go looking for the faults. So you have to be nitpicking. It's a damn good album. I find it hard to appreciate the concept in full. But that said, without this album, where would the concept album be as a format? Between this and Sgt. Pepper's, where would we be in terms of all these albums we're going to talk about in this series? Where would we be without them? And so it's an incredibly important album, but important doesn't always mean well executed. And so there's going to be a choice between execution and importance for me in the way it plays out. Imaginarium, when it comes to Nightwish, for example, Dave, we have covered Nightwish over the years quite a few times, and you've quite often been aghast at my interpretation of the band and their work. And the thing is that we did the Human Nature review a couple of years ago, you and I, and I really started to click with Nightwish at that point in time. Had I started my journey with Nightwish on this album, my experience of the band might be very different to the one I had. This starts off in Finnish, which is interesting, but it sets the overall tone really, really well. It's very grand. You can tell straight away that there was meant to be a movie along with this one because it feels like it, or it plays like a score to me. It's just got this epic scope. You can visualize this one pretty comfortably. The orchestration adds to the whole experience as well. And the byplay of vocals between Marco and Annette is actually really impressive. That adds an extra element to this, which is similar to Tommy because you got all the members of the band doing different bits and pieces vocally too. But that counterpoint between the male harsh and the female clean, and then they would sort of switch on that one too. That was something else you didn't really get. This is like the metal version of Cirque du Soleil. If anyone's seen Cirque du Soleil live, that's a really good one. What this feels like. Listen to it. It feels like you're at a Cirque du Soleil show. Now, I fucking adore Cirque du Soleil. I think it's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, go and see it, regardless of your show. It's fantastic.
I've seen them. Yeah, awesome.
The zoo without animals, it's riveting from start to finish. It's just something unique. There's lots of different moods and styles in Imaginarium. The jazz lounge thing that Dave mentioned before, I didn't know they had to go and get lessons for that. That's cool. Yeah, that they paid that much attention to their craft to go and get lessons to pull it off, which they did fucking well. Yeah.
And it's a highlight of the movie too, because there's like
I haven't seen the movie, so
you should see it.
Man, I'm going to link you up, and I want you to watch. I know you're busy, but you need to watch it because I know you, and I think you'll get it.
Okay,
cool. Really do. I don't want to spoil it though.
No, don't spoil it.
It's a pretty powerful thing. Yeah. I think you should watch it as well.
I do want to after listening to the album. I'm very, very curious about it, to say the least. Sorry.
I tried watching Tommy. That's fucked up.
I watched Tommy when I had COVID. I had COVID when I watched Tommy. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Messed up.
I haven't seen Tommy either. I should watch the other one too, just for context in this one.
Messed up.
It's weird. But that's again a product of the era too. Don't forget that. Which is in a different time, different production, different methodology to all of it. I was really impressed with Annette on this one and her ability to deliver all the styles on this. And it was remarkable considering it was her last album with the band as well, which is like, what? Hang on.
Yeah.
How do you go from this album and then you say goodbye to that? Like, what?
Well, that was a schmozzle.
How many albums did they do with Annette?
2.
Yeah.
This being one of them.
Yeah, this is the last. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They fired her because she was pregnant. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yes and no. It wasn't.
Well, I know.
Oh,
Yeah,
here
It
we
wasn't.
go.
Well,
But yeah, there was some remarkable footage on YouTube of she got sick and she had to be taken to hospital. So they had the option. So Thomas walked out to the audience and said, "Do you want us to cancel and reschedule, or do you want to hang her out and we'll try and put something together with Alyssa White Glitz and Simone? I think it was Simone Simmons." And the audience just was like, "We'll hang about." And audience karaoke with like an hour of rehearsal with those 2 women. And
Wow.
they
It would have
fucking
been good, eh?
smoked
Yeah.
it. And then 2 days later, Annette was let go, and Floor Jensen joined the band and had to learn the set list in 48 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fucking remarkable how well that went.
I've seen that doco, whatever the fuck it is, on YouTube as well. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
I feel bad for Annette, but I can see both sides of the argument. And she did try and crucify the band, but they're just like, well, we have emails. Do you want us to publish them? And it went quiet, and that was the last I heard. So whatever bad blood went down, it is what it is, and it wasn't aired in the public. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Anyway, on this album, I was impressed with her ability. That's why I was like, damn, it was like a shame that was the end of it.
I love that.
Yeah, this is the kind of darkness I love in music. Like I said, if I had started with this album on this band as opposed to wherever I began over the years, I would probably love them more than I respect and appreciate them these days, because this is a pretty fucking impressive album. It's a beast of a thing. The coming of the end of life is really well conveyed on this album. The story may not have the world's best flow, so I think you don't quite get the story. But where I mentioned Cirque du Soleil before, if anyone has seen the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, this is a bit like that in how it sort of moves from mode to mode and tells different stories. It's like that whole flitting through scenery of a lifetime, and that's what this kind of feels like in musical form as well in that regard.
I think it's a hard pill to swallow when you're on one listen.
Yeah,
there's a lot to take.
And the same with Tommy as well. Both of them are a lot to digest.
I agree. I listened to both of these albums a good half dozen times because I'm not familiar with them. I want to make sure I got familiar with them.
And I wasn't familiar. I put them on, and it was like, oh my god, this is a lot to listen to and digest.
There's a lot to take in on both these albums.
Yeah.
These aren't. I don't think concept albums are meant to be easy listening, but some are more complex than others, and these are 2 very complex albums. There's a lot to take in going on, especially just on the emotive level. If nothing else, just the emotive level on both albums. There's a lot to process when you're listening to it, and that takes a bit of effort to get your head around it properly. So for me, in this album, when I listened to both a good half dozen times, this one. All this week, so like once a day, I'd sort of go through and listen to both of them. The reliving of the end of one's, like when the whole life flash before your eyes, that was conveyed really well, especially toward the end of the album, which is really well done. I think it, in that context, it pays off. It's got a huge ending to it. It's really well done. For me, I'm going to go with Nightwish on this battle. I think Tommy is important ahead of its time in a lot of respects as well. But the flow and the writing for Nightwish made it a joy to come back to. Like it's a monster of a record, and there's lots of different. I loved even how the folk element in there as well as the jazz element, the use of bagpipes and all that sort of stuff there. That was really nicely done. It's a really full-on journey, and it's one of those albums where Tommy, I can really appreciate it. I respect the fuck out of it, but like you said, Jeff, what am I going to put on? If I've got to put, which one am I going to gravitate toward? I'm going to gravitate toward Nightwish. It's just going to be the one that grabs my attention.
Right. Yeah.
And when I listen to an album like this and go, fuck, if I'd have started here, my entire opinion of a band might be a bit different. That's a pretty important album to me when it can potentially, shift your entire perspective of the output of an artist. It's pretty impressive. So yeah, it is a 3-1 win, which is sorry, Conrad, but in the context of things, Had we gone the other way, just so people know for context, the 8th seed was the Who and 9th seed was Nightwish. So it's an upset in this context, because had it been a tie, Tommy would have gone through on the seeding. So that's where we are with that one. So we've gotten to the end of round 1 when it comes to the little concept album battle series. We'll do another round next week. Now to that end, next week it is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band from the Beatles versus Sabotage with Streets Rock Opera. So
nice. What was it? Say that again, because I didn't hear what you just said. Didn't sound like you said the Beatles versus Sabotage.
Yes, that's what I said.
Okay.
Hey, that's the seeding. It's like the 7th seed versus the 10th seed. That's how it worked out.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
To be honest, I've never heard the Sabotage album, and my wife is a massive Beatles fan. That's like her Guns N' Roses, and I like seeing my wife naked, so I might have to go with the Beatles.
Just on principle.
I was just gonna say, Tommy and I have the album. Tommy and I have something in common. Do you know what that is? We were both born in 1969. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was kind of scared where you were going to go there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No, that's it. It's just nothing else about that album have anything to do with fucking me. I don't even like playing.
I'm glad you clarified that, Jeff. We're all a bit worried. Wow.
Did you meet the Acid Queen?
Yeah.
I gotta say, the Acid Queen's got a fucking cool riff. Same with I'm Free.
Yeah, but Free is a good
Townsend's an underrated guitarist, man. He's got
I agree with that.
Oh, yeah. There's just nothing to take away from the musicianship in this album. This band is a powerhouse band.
Yeah.
Musicianship.
And like I said, it's really important too. So you got to give it. This is not about.
I think it was an easier one to digest for me. As I said, it's the first time listening to both of these, and I think Tommy was easier to digest.
Yeah,
that's probably why I went with that, because it was.
It's a more direct story.
Concept albums can be quite emotionally mentally quite exhausting.
Yeah,
it can be.
As you said, mentally and emotionally draining.
Yeah,
but then it's doing what it's supposed to do.
And because you get invested, you get invested in it emotionally and mentally. You get invested in it. Yeah. So as a result of that, it can be quite.
It's taxing.
An assault on the senses, definitely.
Yeah. Well,
this was easier to digest.
Yeah. This makes perfect sense.
On a first
listen. I get it. Yeah.
On a first listen.
Yeah. And that I hadn't listened to these albums before this process either. And like bits and pieces, obviously, but not sat down and actually took them in. But no, I completely get that, because in terms of just the visceral impact of the story, Tommy hits you right between the eyes pretty bloody quick. Like it grabs you. Like it's not for the faint of heart, but it's also not a weak story. It's got a lot going on, and it moves through the motions.
Both
and you got to look at how it was recorded. I mean, in 1969, so it was recorded like Imaginaerum would have been. There's no question. Imaginaerum would have been on a computer with Pro Tools and the whole bit, right?
Yeah,
no question. 11, and then Imaginaerum. But Tommy was would have been recorded live. Sure, they might have done overdubs, but they were talking like fucking cutting tape and scissors.
Yeah,
and that sort of shit.
And dubbing it down to
over-trabbing and dubbing and stuff like that. Yeah, all done by hand. So that's just an amazing accomplishment. When
it was a feat. And what they did with the whole, and even the way they did the things like when they broke the mirror and that kind of stuff, that part of the story was impressive. Like all those things were really well done. Like it has some big time highlights, and it's an incredibly important album. No one should dismiss the album. It's just that in the context of where we are.
If you haven't heard it, please give it a listen.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It is so good.
There's a reason why it was the 8th most popular choice by the audience out there. There's a reason for that. So
because there was some other great albums out there that could have taken it, and it's that good that it made that list.
Like Porcupine Tree's Fear of a Blank Planet didn't make the list.
Didn't make the list.
Fantastic album.
River Runs Red.
That's a fantastic album.
River Runs Red by Life of Agony.
I would even argue, Dave, War of the Worlds, just for you.
Absolutely.
War
of the Worlds.
We need more disco dancing fucking early.
War of the Worlds, I think, is over both over Tommy and over Imaginaerum.
I would Yeah, I think I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, I would as well, to be honest.
No,
No.
no.
I mean, it goes back to 1898 or whatever.
Yeah,
Fuck,
I know.
Dave. Come on.
It-
Come on.
Yeah,
it's
the
as far as
story's
concepts go.
fantastic. I love the War of the World stories, but there's
Oh, you
no
don't like the
point in the story where
execution,
they
right,
fucking dance like John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever.
No,
Jesus Christ.
but that's what it was. That's what the flavor
Anyway,
of the day
we did
was.
this last week. Well, not last week,
It's
the week
like,
before.
like I said, it's like having a Nightmare on Elm Street musical with Freddie Raps.
It's the
Dave,
ring.
Producer of the fucking War of the
We're
World,
chilling-
so he
we're
wants to
chilling
make
old
it
ground
just go
now.
to make it interesting.
War of the World shits on Imaginarium.
End
Yeah,
stream.
no.
Okay, and we're going to roll the credits right out now. No, before we
I'm
do...
not even threatened by that comment because I know it's not true.
No, here we go. All right, let's get to some comments because we've got a lot of comments here to scroll through. Chris says Nightwish. Basher says Nightwish. Chris says pizza porn. Thor, zip up your pants while cooking.
Oh wow.
Just to scroll through here. Basher says I'm not hungry anymore after that comment. Chris says sounds like a Concrete Blonde lyric. Vinny says his pepperoni was poking through. Well, wow. I'm
Get
scrolling
hot
back to
pepperoni.
almost a half hour worth of
Mild.
comments here.
Yeah.
Guy says got to be the Who, hence Keith Moon, which is a good choice. Chris says chunk red. Dave's inventing a whole new dictionary. Rowan says been looking forward to this concept album battle for a long time. Definitely my jam. Both these albums were new to me. I really struggle with the Who album though. Long way from my taste. So there we go.
Wow.
Jeff said, Bash says, agree with Jeff. Dark Passion Play, one of the best albums, slightly behind is Imaginarium and Endless Form's most beautiful. So there we go. Rowan then said, Nightwish is a band I've heard a bit over the last few years, mostly through the show here. They've never grabbed me, but from the moment this started playing to the third playing, this is bloody awesome. So there you go. There's some love for that one there. Bash says, well said, Dave. Comparing similarities with the two albums, childhood. There you go, Dave. So for your review, there's some more love from the audience. Mel says, love Nightwish. Have every single album, so Imaginarium for me. Respect for the Who, though. So there we go. Chris says, Streets versus Sgt. Pepper's is going to kill me. Probably will.
already
kill
dead.
all of us.
That's-
This is going to be hard. This whole process is going to be really, really hard. Bash said, Imaginarium just gets better after every listen, always picking up on things. That's a good point too, as well.
I've said before tapings, we've got fucking Iron Maiden, Seventh Son of the Seventh Son versus the Crimson Idol from Wasp. And I'm going to be like Bart Simpson when Lisa was doing experiments on him with the cupcake. And I'm going to be like, fucking, I can't do it. I just can't. Those two albums. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting viewing coming up.
You're going to watch us struggle, folks.
It's going to be painful.
Yeah. Chris says, honestly, I don't get your passion for Nightwish, Dave, but the passion you show for this album is the same emotion I have for Streets, a rock opera. Well, that'll be coming up next week, so let's see what happens.
All right.
Carl says, anything with Marco Hietala is a win, but then says Dave's homework is now to listen to Floor Jansen in all the After
I've
Forever
heard a few of her albums. They're fucking good too. Yes.
They are
there you
good.
go.
Yeah. Even
Lord.
she did an album called Vamp or something. I think she was.
Yeah, she did Bam.
Yeah.
And
She did a
she
musical
done
album a
like
couple of months ago.
Phantom of the Opera with some other dude in Finland on some contest, and that video is going around YouTube. It's like, holy shit, she can do
Well,
anything.
her new solo album's pretty good too. The one a couple of months ago, or a few weeks ago.
I haven't checked that out yet. I got to check that out.
It's not bad.
I just love Floor Johnson. She's a remarkable person, and I love the pictures
She's
that
hot
she
as
posts.
fuck too. So
And her
Yeah,
story
yeah.
is good lately as well. Like,
Botox. She'll post non-makeup photos with wrinkles, and she's a beautiful woman.
and she's just
She
beating
is.
cancer too. So let's give that
That's
a
right.
fight too. Just
Yeah.
beating cancer on top
Fucking
of all that.
amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so very powerful woman.
Did I mention that she's hot as fuck? Did I mention that?
Yes,
Yep.
you did, and
Very
I'm
cool.
sure you're getting to your point right about now as well.
I saw her live, man. I saw her live.
Oh, here we go. Nicole says, Tommy for me. I just can't do Nightwish. I can listen to Tommy every day. There we go. Nice.
That's cool.
Darren says, if I had to choose, it would be the Who, as I'm not a big fan of Nightwish. So it is the pendulum swinging back as we go.
That's
through
nice.
this one.
Yeah, I got to see that.
That's good. Yeah, I like that. Rowan says, I'll be definitely checking out the other Nightwish album with this singer. Cool.
Yeah.
Darren said, can you taste the pizza, Dave?
I wish I could.
I can
yeah,
taste
but
the
yeah,
pizza.
jump on YouTube and there's like full concerts from the Annette era doing Taja songs, and
Okay.
she's good. I mean, it's different, but I like what she did. Some people
I
don't.
respect the shit out of Annette. I think
Yeah.
what she had to jump into.
jump on the
How
Dark
the
Element
fuck do you
too.
follow
The
that
stuff that
and
she-
come up with what
Oh.
she did? Amazing.
and Olsen with Russell Allen from Symphony
Oh
X.
yeah,
The
yeah.
work they've done
yes.
together, is fucking amazing.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, that was cool.
He's an amazing singer.
Cool.
Great singer.
Chris says, hell, I used a snippet of the lyric from Believe by Sabotage My Wedding Vows. Okay, next week we're going to get right into it with Chris. That's
Holy
going to be an
shit.
important album.
Wow.
That's powerful stuff, man. Thanks for
I
sharing.
had Trivium lyrics written into my wedding vows.
I had fucking Garth Brooks. Oh my god.
Oh,
Right.
dude.
Now we know why I'm divorced.
Fucking
Now we know
Trivium.
why it ended. No, I love Garth Brooks, but fuck, man. Friends in low
Dude,
places.
dude. I had Trivium. You had Garth Brooks. I win, hands
Yeah,
down.
you definitely you win.
My
You win.
wife,
We're still married. Yeah.
Jody walked down the aisle to a 6 a.m. song. So
All right.
yeah.
See,
So-
I was kind of pissed off that the groom doesn't get to make an entrance because I wanted to use the Undertaker's theme music.
Wow.
You didn't want to go with
But
Shawn
no.
Michaels, Dave?
I just have to stand up there like a fucking idiot waiting for the bride to arrive. But no, I didn't get to make an entrance. That's not fair. Should have been Welcome to the Jungle, followed by the entrance fucking Undertaker Ministry of Darkness.
Oh my god.
No, I didn't get to make a fucking big deal.
Guess
Yeah.
what, Dave? You can redo your vows and you can do it your way next time.
Damn right I will.
You can even wear a dress if you want. Go for it.
I'm not wearing a dress.
Dave likes to sing Cold Ethel at night,
Yeah.
right? Cold song, Cold Ethel. Oh, what a song, eh?
I love Cold Ethel.
Yes, I know you do. Yes.
Here we go.
I'm sure Julia would role play for me.
Mm.
She likes
What, you want a cold pack? Like,
Let's
fuck,
just sit in
man.
the fridge for a while.
Sure she would.
Dave, it'd be cheaper and easier to get a cold apple pie. All right.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, I've never seen American Pie. I'm not into that shit.
Nah,
It's weird.
no, you're not missing much.
you're not missing a lot, no. But anyway, Basher says, if you like, I'm free in the context of this conversation. The album version is very good, but I prefer the movie version. So there we go for when it comes to the Tommy album. I haven't seen it, so I can't comment. Nicole says the Rocky Horror Show. That is,
Yeah.
we can all do that.
That's great.
No, we can't.
That's a,
Nah.
You don't like that, Dave? Come
hey,
on.
that's a great
No.
movie. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, Julia loves it. I fucking hate it.
I like
It's
it.
great. It's
That's good.
fantastic.
Great.
And the whole
Fantastic.
subculture
You're
around it is
outnumbered again.
hilarious.
No.
The subculture is fantastic. It's the slightly queer goth take on Blues
Yeah.
Brothers, the fandom
No.
kind of thing, that obsessive
Oh, yeah.
fandom
I'm
is
in
cool.
horror. And everybody in the horror, like people who criticize horror say, just fucking leave. If you turn up at a hotel and there's a bunch of creepy people doing a pervert dance, fucking leave. But no, everybody they want to stay at this place.
Yeah.
I would.
No,
Hey,
If
No,
they- if they're
California,
lasting out
you know,
the right,
toasty place.
I would.
people are all weird. strange
Conrad's in.
individuals. No,
I do too. You know,
I
when
think
that
Dave,
movie
you might be the
hit,
only one out there that's
Tim
not going
Curry
to
is
it.
Pennywise. That's cool. Tim Curry with fucking stockings on. That shit's scary. Get the
Don't
fuck out of
tell
that
me.
place.
Don't
Right
tell
away.
me the question.
you scared.
Yeah. I think Dave's a little concerned about the stirring in his loins when he thinks of Tim Curry in spandex.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I
Tim
think
Curry's
Dave's
never even made a move.
Protesting.
Not
Dave's
trying to
protesting a
infect you
little
all.
too much.
Look,
Yeah, now does
Yeah,
protest.
but Julia loves Rocky Horror. She's been to Rocky Horror Nights where they do like performances.
Yeah,
and
they
shit.
go nuts, man.
Yeah, no, I
The whole-
can't deal
That's
with
why I
it.
think the fandom is great. Same with that's why I know it's not the same thing, but I reference I think of Rocky Horror and Blues Brothers, the fan base, the way it plays out.
yeah,
They
absolutely.
all go nuts for it. It's
Brothers is
fantastic.
cool, though. We can't compare Blues Brothers to Rocky Horror.
I'm
Jesus.
not comparing. I'm saying there's an
Fucking
element of
Jake and
obsessive
Stocking.
fandom.
Jake,
Dave, the way
in stockings.
The way you bang on about Nightwish is the way people feel about fucking Rocky Horror and Blues Brothers.
This is true.
So
And War of the Worlds.
And War of the Worlds, yes.
You do Rocky Horror in the same fucking sentence.
You know when Rocky Horror came out, right? It wasn't long before people started getting into it, and the theater owners hated the fucking movie because that people would bring toilet paper and rice and shit, like when they're throwing shit, and like the whole place would just roll off. Yeah. So, but you know, that's very few films get audience reaction like that. So
and also the timeless songs from that as well.
Blues Brothers is cool, but no, the fucking whole Rocky Horror. That was like the down point of my wedding, man. They did the fucking time walk. I'm like, can I leave? Can I just fucking leave? Julia's out there having fun.
Julia, this is not confessions. I do apologize. So
I did the fucking nut bush, and my friend's out there doing the fucking nut bush. I'm like, I didn't know you could do this, dude. Me and the men are out there. So like, what the fuck is going on?
An hour ago, you were boasting about how well you can rap. Shut up. Like
I can rap better than fucking Tim Curry can nut bush.
Oh wow. Anyway, so just on that note, let's see what
I'm hardcore, man. Fucking Eminem fears me.
Anyway, Sally says Nightwish for sure, but Jolie says The Who, so there we go. And Michael says The Who as well. That's cool.
Got some love.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be close.
It's a tight audience vote. Nicole says the floor sang the opera with the guys that played the guy in the opera. So hang on, sorry, I'm trying to read the.
I can't, dude. I'll read it for the
first floor sang, and the Phantom was with one of the guys that played the guy in the opera. Guy, not for fucking autocorrect. Okay, there's the follow-up. Okay, so the guy Floor sang the Phantom with was one of the guys that played the guy in the opera. So there you go.
Yeah.
That helps when I scroll down.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Fucking hell. Here we go. It's late. Carl says Marco was the best Nightwish singer. Well, actually, his solo album was pretty fucking good.
It really is. Fucking Marco's great.
Here we go. Chris says, Dave, do you take this woman as your lawfully wedded wife? Dave, tears rain down from the sky.
Hey, you want to know what was funny? Julia's going to fucking kill me, but the celebrant made us do this fucking hand over hand shit.
Yeah, it's like
and so we did that for the ceremony. We did the rings and everything. Then we got to the part where we were like fucking zoos, like animals in the zoo, where everyone gets to take a photo of us.
Yeah.
And a professional photographer was like, "Is there a reason why the ring's on Dave's wrong hand?" So it was on this hand, which means I'm widow. Like, oh shit, let's just put it on this hand. Nobody knows. But
except the photographer.
I don't know what's going on in those days, but yeah, I should have walked down the aisle to the Undertaker's music. That would have been cool.
Oh my god, here we go. But Rowan's gone, oh, she did an album with Russell Allen. Yes, she did.
It's nice, so good.
Very good.
If you've been on YouTube and you know the charismatic voice, where there's this operatic vocal coach that analyzes metal tunes, she's done Rob Halford from Judas Priest. She's on Spotify as well with her podcast. She interviewed Russell Allen and Annette Olson, and it was the first time they'd actually seen each other. They just communicated via email. The whole project was done that way. They'd never actually seen each other and had a conversation. So during that process with the interview with the chick from the charismatic voice, that was the first time they met properly.
No. That's cool.
This is the world we're living where people can just make albums together without actually physically meeting each other.
Jeff Tate did that with Sweet Oblivion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Same thing. That was and how good that album was. Fucking hell, that was amazing.
There was even project, but this goes back to even when we started the show back in 2011. There were projects kicking around even then that were doing things like even online then. So it's only just gotten faster and better now. So that's just the way it's going to work. We even had that conversation. What was it last week about people sending in riffs, and we all sort of chop it up to like a community music project as well. So that'll be something that's done after I move. But yeah, that's something we can definitely explore.
Annette was saying in that conversation that she would do different versions of her vocal tracks, and then would be sent off, and then they would pick what they wanted to fit what their overall mood would be.
Yep,
which is cool. It's very cool.
The way technology has enabled the arts to be improved or get more of it, at least it's so cool. I really do love it.
Well, it's a double-edged sword too. I mean, yes, now anybody can record, but that's what they said when fucking grunge hit. Like anybody can fucking play music. Fuck off. You have to have some talent.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion.
His name's Kurt Cobain. You don't have fun.
No, I'm not saying that.
You know what? This whole episode tonight is Dave needs a trigger warning. That's this whole episode tonight. Is Dave needs a trigger warning. This whole fucking thing.
Don't choke.
You know what? Don't choke. Half of what Kurt did might have been on purpose. The other half, he just got lucky.
Look, dude. Yes, there's an element of luck, but you can also make your own luck. I don't think that any of them were untalented. I think that's a bit harsh.
No. But I think there was a movement at that time.
Yeah, there was, and
you don't need to practice or play. You can just pick up an instrument, string
and it didn't work.
It was called new metal.
Right.
Well, that's why grunge is dead. Really.
It's called new metal. Fucking hated it.
Well played, Conrad. That's it. I do like some new metal stuff. No, but I think also at the same time, in the same conversation we're talking about now is what's going to happen now with AI and ChatGPT. The same conversations happen cyclically over and over again. It still takes talent and to connect with the audience to cut through. I don't care about anything else. You have to connect, and that is a human thing and will always be a human thing. And that takes substance and talent no matter what.
It does.
Mic drop onto the comments. Nicola says, my wedding gift to me from my husband was Metallica Monopoly. Well done. Well done. Nice.
Oh, I want to play Monopoly for Metallica. Can I meet your husband?
Oh my God. You go to Queensland, Dave.
Might be worth the trip.
Yeah, well, I'll be up there. Vinny says, if I get married, I want it over quickly. The Ultimate Warrior's entrance music. So
yeah. What about the Bushwhackers? That'd be cool.
Oh my God.
The Bushwhackers, yeah.
They're from New Zealand, weren't they? Supposed to be.
Oh.
Supposed to be from
now, you want it over quick? Just go to Goldberg's music.
No, it's fucking Ravishing Rack Rude. That's the shit.
Rack Rude, Rick Rude.
Rack.
Have another drink, Dave.
No. Ravishing Rack Rude. Okay, Dave, have another drink. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Yeah, we started off having one glass of Aldi wine. That's escalated.
What's the percentage on that shit?
I don't know. But the fucking Germans are great, aren't they?
Yeah, they do a good job. Yeah.
Good at the booze.
Oktoberfest. Hey, what can I say?
Here we go.
I could go get some more, but I'm wearing moccasins, and it's really hard to creep through the house and not wake the wife when you're wearing moccasins. She's like,
you're in fur-lined wool thing, and you can't sneak.
Yeah, but they flop around.
Show us your feet,
it's like Kurt fucking Courtney Love. You're going to have a slap.
Dave, I think your footwear isn't the only thing flopping around tonight.
You're bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So would Kurt.
And speaking of, Chris says, I see Dave shiver in anticipation.
Yeah.
Nicole says, seeing Tim Curry live in Gartus was the best night of my life. There we go, Dave. We're getting some more love for Tim Curry here. Guy says, this is getting out of hand, folks. It gets out of hand every week.
Yeah. Welcome to yep.
Vinny, Dave's playing mean pinball when Tim Curry walks out.
Just one kid sure plays a mean transvestite.
So he's going, don't get strung out, Dave. Darren says, Dave, you're a strange wired unit. Stockings make you uncomfortable. Me thinks you protest too much. So there we go.
Exactly.
It's coming out of the audience now too.
Good job.
Stockings on a woman, I'm perfectly fine with. There's no problem at all there.
This is why he's not showing us his feet at the moment. There's a reason. Yes.
Good point, Jeff. Good point.
That's
how Nicole says Richard O'Brien is a living legend.
Died. What the fuck? He just killed him. He just collapsed. All on live TV. I love it.
Oh, Dave,
Okay.
you know I'm clipping that. You know I'm clipping that. You know I'm using that. That is going to be like in perpetuity. That's done now. Like,
oh my goodness. Sorry, Dave. I got that on. Show your feet. Bang.
The chair has wheels.
Not anymore. It don't.
It does. I used to check this shit.
It was the chair's fault, I'm sure.
Oh, right.
Yes, that's Dave. A bad
Blame the
trade
chair.
blamed his tools.
That's it. Exactly what I was going to say.
Okay.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Okay. I'm going to share a story. On Fridays, when I get to, I leave work. I leave for work before the family wakes up. At some point during the day, Julia texts me and says, "I'm having a cup of tea. I'm having a deep breath, and I'm checking out all the comments on last night's stream."
Uh-oh.
I don't know if I'm going to be disappointed or not. I think tomorrow I'm going to have a lot of explaining to do.
I think so,
Well,
Dave.
you might. Dave's not here
Because,
next week.
like I
You'll
said-
know why. Yeah.
She loves Rocky Horror, so there's going to be a conversation for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's comments happening about what just happened with the chair.
Just a jump to the left. Boom. Bang.
And
Dave
it's a
falls
flip
over.
to the right. I don't get it.
And a fall to the back is what it is. Like
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
new
exactly.
lyrics that Dave's interpreting.
Yeah.
And Dave's
As
cranky.
far as
about
I know,
it.
I didn't hurt anything. I might feel it differently tomorrow.
You'll definitely
might.
feel that differently
No,
tomorrow. You made
That
a
wasn't
noise.
because
when
I
you
was
hit the ground.
drinking.
That was like a solid whack. You're gonna feel that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Here we
fucking
go.
hard
I
now,
thought your
man.
Guns N' Roses thing, you were going to grab it and rip the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses ain't gonna save you, Dave. So
Guns N' Roses will save me from anything.
this is like Dave having an error 404 message tonight.
Yeah.
So
Just to let you know, I just got an alert on my laptop saying that my battery's about to die.
oh bugger. Okay.
Oh,
And
no. Hey,
And my-
dude,
my-
plug it into the wall.
I can't
Yeah.
because the charger's
Electricity.
in my mother's room and she's in
Ah,
bed.
bugger.
Sneak in. I snuck
Oh.
in my parents' fucking
I'm
room
not
to sneak
sneaking in my
cigarettes.
mother's room, Dave.
No, Dave,
Doing that, Dave.
Dave,
You might go in on something you don't want to see. Yeah.
yeah.
Man, I was a teenager. There was a
Stop
very,
doing that.
very young
Ever-
chance I might
I
have been
don't
doing
think
stuff.
I'd do something that's that stupid, but I'm not about to.
Oh wow.
And you've got to be quick, dude.
Yeah, be quick or be dead.
I will be dead.
Yes. So did that,
It's just
is
a
that you
jump
wanted to
to the
sign off? Or
left.
you just warning us in advance it cuts out?
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
If
All
it
right.
goes, then I apologize.
No, that's all good. I'm going to quickly go through some comments here. Nicole was saying before that Richard O'Brien is a living legend. So there we go. For that one.
Absolutely.
Michael said, time to wheel Dave out onto the porch and mash his bananas. I think Dave's pretty fucking mashed already. Yoli says it's just a jump to the left and a step to the right. Dave. Yeah, it's a lot more than that going on. Bastion says, love Rocky Horror Show album and Blues Brothers movies. I do feel for you, Dave. Time warp on your wedding appears you might need some therapy. He's going to need more than that at the moment.
I was more concerned about my friend doing the nut bush. Like, dude, I
Yeah,
thought I
that's-
knew you. What the fuck?
Yeah. Bit much, but hey.
Chris says, well, Dave, you and I are already in discussion of doing a Vanilla Ice tribute album together. So there we go.
Oh, yeah. Tight, baby. Yeah, that's the shit right there.
Oh my god! Vinny says, although Dave's yelling at people to his left and screaming at the rest of the right. So- oh man! Oh fuck! Chris says it was amazing. We played Time Warp in my little old cover band in Bega a few weeks ago, and it went off. 18-year-olds and 7-year-olds loving it. It is a timeless song. It's a timeless song. Nicole says she trained hubby well. Yes, you did to get that Monopoly set. That's nice. But
Holy
Guy is
fuck.
asking, the house that Jack built, is that in the Metallica Monopoly? That's a good question, actually.
It should be.
The house that Jack built should be in there.
Blackened Boulevard.
He says, rack rude, I spat my drink. Oh, man.
Raccoon.
Fuck.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
I'm losing my shit here
You
today.
can't write this shit, people. You
Oh,
cannot write
God,
this shit.
it's fucked. Nicole's going, Dave, reminding me of why I don't drink. Yeah, that's why we all drink.
You're missing out, man. You're missing out.
Joel is going, Elders is closed. Yeah, Dave drank him out of business.
Do I have time for another?
I had to wet myself laughing so hard.
I
Oh,
don't want to miss the comments, but I want another drink.
these are the comments of Dave falling over. Oh my God, that was hilarious.
If you don't make a clip,
Oh,
a
man.
snippet of that, oh my God, you've got to.
Oh, I'm gonna
That's-
clip that. That is gonna
That's
be
got to be a YouTube
immortalized.
short.
That is up there. Yeah, Chris has it right. Dave's not here, man. Dave left a long time ago. Basher says, I missed it. Waiting for the replay, please. Yeah, it's coming.
Shit.
Guys, come on, peace out, Swedish cooking his mum. So that's when the battery was running low.
I'm just waiting for the text tomorrow from Julia saying all these comments
mate,
about
you are
Dave,
going to
what
be in
the
a
fuck
world
happened?
of shit. Nicole says, bye, Conrad, just in case you disappear. Vinny says, we saw you making pizza. Bring the stream into your mother's room.
Yeah. Oh, there he goes. He's gone.
What timing is that?
Perfect timing.
What timing is that?
Oh,
Bye,
man.
Conrad.
He drops out. Bye, Conrad.
I
Wow.
will never get Conrad
timing.
parent porn.
This is like the perfect.
I
Wow.
couldn't have asked for a better way to go.
It's all
Boom.
serendipity tonight. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
We'll see if Conrad comes back, but he's got the spinning circle of death there, so we'll see what happens. But Nicole has answered, never opened it. No idea what it looks like inside. We'll have to Google. We'll have to Google the Metallica Monopoly set.
Oh, we're talking about Metallica. I was concerned.
Yes, okay, go back to your Tim Curry thoughts. Guys. Oh, yeah, there's your nut bush, Dave.
Oh my God, my dog is gonna.
Guy says Dave is going to have an oh my God, my dog is gonna moment. So there we go. And Nicole says there is a Bates Motel thing going on. There is a lot going on tonight.
Well, there was earlier because Conrad was running around with that fucking knife. Did you not see it?
I know.
He was cutting the pizza with this fucking knife from like fucking Michael Myers or something.
Oh, wow. And Chris says, now we'll never get that Conrad parents porn. That has to be the sentence you never, ever thought would be added on the show. Mate, I've given up guessing what's ever going to be said on this show. I've fucking heard just about everything every week. It's fucking crazy what happens here. Dave, in particular, is a good one for that.
Knowing that Conrad's English and having seen Family Guy,
Oh
you know,
God, you
with that clip where it's just like, almost. There we go. Well done. If people have seen it, you know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But that's just me.
You know what's
more
more fucking
another
Family
thing.
Guy.
Yes, I know, Nicole.
I have.
We are hitting the thing, and Vinny's gone. Yes, I know that one, Dave. We are hitting that point of the night where I think we should just start to wrap this up because this is fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
Hey, Conrad. Yeah, sorry guys, cut out there. I'm watching on the phone now. Well done, mate. Thank you for jumping in. You've done a great job tonight. We'll see you next week for sure. But that was the timing of you dropping out there was absolutely fucking priceless. That was fantastic. So take that. That was that. It's been a wild one, but a fun one tonight. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed this epic little fucking session. I don't know what the hell to make of this one.
It's great.
I'm sorry. If you want to fire me, I understand why.
I'll never fire you, Dave. Nicole says, proud to say I've never watched Family Guy. So there we go. And Chris says, okay, guys, I'm going to get my beauty sleep recording vocals tomorrow by Stupid Rock cover of Livin' La Vida Loca. Wow. Dude, that's, you know what?
I'd love to hear
Good
that.
luck.
That's
Seriously,
awesome.
Good luck. I hope it goes well. It is getting late. We are going to wrap this up. And Guy says, best cooking stream ever. This has been fucking wild tonight. So hopefully you all enjoyed it. Before we get out of here, let's quickly do a bin and I'll do the usual wrap up after that. So, Dave, I fucking shudder to ask, but Dave, what are you putting in the bin?
You know what? The reserve bank deserves to be in there. That's all. Cool.
Oh, you're going to put it in.
What I was planning all along is people complaining about Kirk Hammett's use of the wah pedal. I'm seeing it all through comments throughout Facebook on guitars and like music sites. The wah pedal is fucking awesome. If it's good enough for Jimi Hendrix, it's good enough for anyone. Jerry Cantrell uses it a lot too. I see people bitching about him. Kirk Hammett, my only personal gripe about it is he doesn't use it enough. He puts it on about halfway through a solo. It should be on from the very start. The wah pedal's fucking awesome. I guess it's too hard for some people to use both hands while playing and a foot at the same time. But no, we make jokes about fucking drummers and they use all four appendages. But no, we're going to make fucking crap about Kirk Hammett because he likes a wah pedal. It's fucking cool. More wah pedal, more flanger, because they're fucking cool too. And more reverb because the 80s was fucking awesome. As long as it heightens what the musicians is doing, not like Kurt Cobain, where he stepped on a fucking flanger pedal because I'm just going to play a few notes and put a fucking flanger on it. And I'm cool.
Dave,
no,
name
the wah
one
pedal's
Nirvana song
fucking
with
cool.
flanger. Go on.
Drain You.
Drain
You. Yeah, there's a section where he has a clean tone and then he puts on like distortion and flanger at the same time, the same note. And there's a whole other section where he has a clean tone then he switches back to the distorted and flanger effects, and then it's clean tone.
You don't like
What the fuck is that? You're not a musician. You're stepping on buttons.
I'm amazed you spent that much time analyzing something you don't like.
Exactly.
I used to be a Nirvana fan when I was a teenage kid, an aspiring guitarist. So I kind of know what Kurt was doing, and I can tell he was a fucking hack. But Kurt using the wah pedal, holy shit, he does some great stuff. It's not about being the fastest shredder, it's about being expressive with your phrases. It's all cool. Wah pedal's cool. Kurt's a wanker. Kirk Hammett. Cool.
Anything else, Dave?
No. I think that's cool enough.
I'm done.
All right, let's put a pin in that one. Jeff, what about you?
Well, look, I got to comment. I have to say something about the Kirk Hammett. I cannot let that go fucking unsaid. Yeah. He's a one-trick pony, Kirk Hammett. He really is. He's got one tool in his fucking toolbox, and he uses it all the time. He doesn't need a pedal board. He just needs a fucking wah pedal. That's it. So I think
the wah pedal doesn't play itself, though. It just puts a different dynamic on what you're playing.
It doesn't.
As a Dream Theater fan, I can say the same thing about John Petrucci. He plays fast. He's a one-trick pony. Every solo guitarist is a one-trick.
He's actually talented. That's the difference.
That's Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix uses wah pedal.
Well, Jimi Hendrix
uses wah pedal a lot.
Yeah, but not like Kirk Hammett. No one ever says, "Oh, I wish fucking Jerry Cantrell would stop using the wah pedal." No one says that. People say it over and over about Kirk. Yeah, well,
What's the difference between Kirk Hammett's playing and Jerry Cantrell's playing?
One can play, the other one can't. That's the difference. That's the difference. One's got talent, one doesn't. I think that Kirk used to have talent. I think he used to be a really good guitar player. First 3 albums, can't knock it.
Hey,
but those first 3 albums
is pretty fucking cool. He can still play.
Bortles is pretty good. I agree. But listen, try to find the wah in those first 3 albums. It's not there. And if it is there, it's very sparingly.
But he was good on Justice. He was good on Black Album as well, to be fair. Like
Fire with Fire's got a wah pedal.
I know, but
Fire with Fire has a wah pedal.
Unforgiven solo is pretty special.
But not like he just, someone said, Kirk, man, that sounds awesome. And it went to his fucking head in every song. Bang, 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 bang.
That's from Load On.
The song, that's the whole thing.
I just don't.
It doesn't have to show off and be. The Dream Theater can play really fast. I have a Crybaby. John Petrucci doesn't fit into Metallica. What Kirk does fits into Metallica.
No, I agree.
Makes him
it's like,
and those wild pedal solos fit what they're doing.
You could argue the same thing with Lars. He's not the best drummer, but he fits in the job for Metallica, for their music. I agree.
I just don't get
Lars
the criticism
in Slayer
popping because he likes a wah pedal.
Yeah, no. I just think he just overuses it. I'm not saying that it doesn't sound good. I just think that it's overused. It's overused.
That's
it's a tool.
Style.
It's a style. I know. I don't know where
Jerry Cantrell overuses the wah pedal. He uses it in just about every song.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe Apple Store. Just anyway, my bin. Tucker Carlson in the bin. I'm done.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Fair enough too. That dickhead. Yeah. That text message that came in. What the fuck?
Yeah. Where he was talking about the Antifa kid.
Yeah. Like what the fuck?
The one where he's saying, I wish he was dead. I wish they'd kill him and all that stuff. Is that the one you're talking about?
White people don't fight like that. Like what the?
That's
fuck
right.
Yeah.
Wow. What a closet racist he is. Yeah.
And the date? Did you say the date of that text? January 7.
What was? Oh wow! So the next day.
Yeah, the next day. Yeah.
Like, wow. No. Look, the guy's just a wanker. And it's coming out now. He's getting sued. Fox is getting sued. They should have let go of him. That's why Rupert Murdoch got rid of him, because he knew there was a shitstorm coming.
But the other one's going to get him in the end anyway. Doesn't matter. The other one's going to get him.
Oh yeah. Look, I think I can actually foresee Fox. They might not weather this. It's quite possible.
They may not survive it.
It's quite possible.
Yep. They may not.
But hey, you reap what you sow. Fuck them.
That's it. That's exactly right. You reap what you sow.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, but it would all be resolved if they had more wah pedal.
Wah.
Dave, it can all be resolved if they all wear stockings.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
That like the you remember Peanuts, the cartoon, like the wah 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 wah. That's what he just heard. Wah 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 wah. What's this wah 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 wah?
The wah doesn't work.
Wow, you pulled that one out of nowhere.
More flanger.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Anyway,
all right. I'm gonna do my bin, then we're gonna get out of here. So on this whole topic, which is weirdly tying in, I don't know how, but the fact that people in drag reading to kids gets cancelled because of threats of violence, that can get in the fucking bin. Speaking of importing American nonsense into Australia, fuck off, okay? This is the most ridiculous beat up I've fucking seen yet. This whole thing is stupid. It's been going on for too long, the negative side of things, but the positive side of it has been going on for fucking far longer. And you know what? Everyone's still fucking okay. You bunch of dropkicks. If you think this is a big issue in the world, you've got fucking, I don't know what the hell to tell you. Just wow. The fact that people in drag reading to kids results in threats of violence, which leads to events being cancelled for safety concerns. What the fuck are we talking about here? Seriously, what the fuck is wrong with you? Can't get a life. What the hell is going on? And on this one, the Labor government, I binned the Liberal government plenty of times, so I'm going to bin the Labor government now as well, because fuck these guys. All right. You're going to raise the rate of, the pension or whatever it is, the New Start allowance or whatever they're calling it for people over 55. What the fuck? You're going to create a class within the class of the poor? The fuck is the shit? If it's enough to, if it is needed to raise it for a certain subset of society, raise it for everyone that's on that fucking bracket. We did it during the lockdowns. We did it with everything else. You can do it again now. And if you can't afford it, reform the fucking tax system. Is it too much to ask for a government to actually govern instead of chasing votes like a bunch of fucking hyenas? Fuck off. And also the ban on vaping, if that's your priority, fuck off too. Tax that instead of outright banning it. Like, what are we talking about here? This whole fucking shit show is just so out of hand that it makes no bloody sense. And it's just completely not moving. Like, I'm tired of governments that want to live in the fucking dark ages as opposed to being progressive and moving forward with shit. It's just, what the fuck are we doing here? It's kind of like Dave and his fear of drag. Or Tim Curry in drag anyway.
It's relatable.
But I'm trying to end on a funnier note. That's all.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just don't get what's going on at the moment. I just think that, it's just, is it too much to ask for a government to just govern? Just do the right thing by everyone, not just the fucking select few. What are we talking about? Painful, stupid. And in the context of things like the rate rise and all that kind of stuff, people are doing it tough. It's just, we don't need people being punched down, and we need to lift people up, not fucking punch down. Like,
correct.
Yeah. It just blows my mind.
It's too much of that shit. It's too much of it. It's
like
always
punching down, creating subsets. It's just fucking painful. Just how we all just, work to lift each other up and have a good time of life, as opposed to fucking, you sit in that box and fuck that. Like, what are we doing? Like, everyone, help everyone.
And in good news, Nightwish won. How fucking cool is that?
Yeah, that's right.
Alrighty. Let's see. I'll do a quick wrap up on the details here. Then I'll do a last round of comments. So yeah, make sure you check us out on TV if you can't get enough of this shit. We're on TV every week on Thursday night on Channel 44 Adelaide, 10:30 p.m. local time, and 10:30 p.m. Saturday nights on Channel 31 in Melbourne. You can see us play more music there as opposed to talking, because all we can do here is talk. It's harder to play music in the online format. And then next we're back again, same time, place, with all four of us again. We'll get Conrad back. Maybe his cooking show will return, I don't know. But we'll get Conrad back. We'll get Jeff back. We'll get Dave and myself, and who the fuck knows where it's going to go. But we are going to definitely cover the Beatles with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band versus Sabotage Streets, a rock opera. So that's going to be a wild battle.
That's just
a wild battle.
That's wow. Yeah.
It's wild. It's all based on seeding.
Sabotage.
So
you haven't heard it
now, Dave?
I've never heard it. I've heard Sgt. Pepper a lot.
It's Look, it's great. Listen, give it a good listen. Especially if you already know Sgt. Pepper.
I like seeing my wife naked, so I'm going to go with the Beatles.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Dave, you said this, but she hasn't seen the comments tomorrow yet. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Good luck.
There's going to be a lot. There's
You
going
may
to be
not
a
be
lot
back
of
next week. You may not be back next week.
I think Dave's going to be spending the week groveling.
I'm going to be groveling.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to be like,
your knees,
I'm going to be like
peasants, on
fucking
your
starving
knees.
Marvin. I'm going to spend all my energy and be like, ugh. Another South Park reference for those who haven't seen it.
Wow.
Oh, well.
All right, let's get some comments.
I hope she doesn't kill you. Hope she doesn't kill you.
Oh, well, so do I, because I like having him around. It's entertaining for us.
Yeah,
But if the last thing we got was Dave falling out of a chair, well, then I guess it was entertaining.
Hey, if she does see this, it's probably deserved if she kills me. I remember the last time we spoke about Rocky Horror that went to TV, and she saw that. I'm just like, fuck, I'm glad I didn't sleep on the couch last night.
Shit.
Anyway, we do have comments here. Let's see what we got here. Chris says, fucking love tonight. I'm glad you did. Thank you so much for sticking with us for as long as you could.
Good show.
Darren's a fucking great show, guys. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you. Likewise, Stuart there. Puke in it from Guy over there. Nicole says, this is seriously been the funniest stream ever. Michael says, Dave, never get fired. The four of you worked tonight were great. Thank you so much for the kind words. Really do appreciate it. Warbin for Chris. So there we go. The Warbin.
Warbin with ravishing rack brood.
Fucking hell. Oh, this is getting better.
Wow.
Oh my God, here we go. Guy says Hammett do get a lot of flack. He is a wonderful player. I do think he's a good player.
Thank you. I'm not alone.
Rowan says gravity in the bin. Well, fuck, why not? We'll bin everything else.
Yeah, and this bitchy chair.
I want to fly, damn it. Vinny says my bin is a fucking banana gaffer taped to a wall is considered art to the value of 6 figures. I've dropped hers more impressive. Did you gaffer tape him to a wall though?
You missed out there, dude.
Yeah, you missed.
Somebody would have bought that shit.
Yeah. Oh, literally. We're on fire tonight. Well, I don't know what to do with this. Andrew says, thanks for a great show again, guys. Had a great start of the week. Saw Sleep Token on Sunday night, a great show. And now we're using it to digest. Cheers, guys. See you next week. I hope you weren't at the show where the guy dropped his guts in the quiet part of the song. For those, oh wow! If you follow the news cycle on that one, that was a bizarre one. I don't know what to fucking do. Oh, that was a quote unquote rip snorter. Conrad says a day come off his meds, mate. We're all off the meds tonight.
What meds? The doctor doesn't come near me. He's too fucking scared.
Guy says, he's not Satriani's student for nothing. Let's talk about Hammett again, which is cool.
Yeah.
Chris on the flip side though says Kirk stopped trying. He has talent. He just retired his care factor. Interesting point. I'm sure people will agree with that. But Nicole says Kirk is being held back in Metallica. Interesting point of view because I did like his Portals EP.
I think like to see more
something in that. I think he might be. I think James and Lars have said you're just going to keep doing what you're doing. Yep.
Yeah, there's actually a point there, I reckon, Nicole. So yeah, well done to raise that one. Guy says more Warbell.
Yeah.
Chris says stockings, wire, and cowbell. Jolie says fishnets. We're on a theme now. Nicole says, in the context of this, my son got scared by Santa, but I know complain and try to ban him. Yes, well, that's the thing too, is that when it comes to the banning of things, kids can get frightened of a great many things, but I'm pretty sure that the drag events aren't scary.
Creepy old Batman crawling down my chimney and mentioning his back.
Did anyone actually watch Bad Santa? Like, seriously?
Yep.
That great movie.
That's a
very likely true, though. Well, a guy says, I want a Metallica Monopoly set. I think we all do now. Nicole says Jewell will be sharpening the knives tomorrow. Yeah, we know where Conrad's next cabana is going to come from.
Or Dave's next cabana.
Yeah.
I might be reviewing in falsetto next week.
You'll be doing your thing in the Marina Bobbit outfit. Vinny says Starvin Marvin and his clicks. There we go. Jolie says, loved watching the full show live tonight. Thanks, guys. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us for the full show. I know it's the first time.
Thank you.
That's cool. Thank you so much for doing that. Sally says, thanks. You are more than welcome. Thanks for joining us as always. Bash says, great show. Thank you for the kind words. Vinny says, cracking show. Pissed my pants laughing at Rack Rude. That's not going to get old, that one. That is not going away. Wow. But then Chris says, got to sleep. If you want a guest review for Sgt. Pepper's versus Streets, hit me up. We might just do that for a bit of fun there, Chris. So we'll see how we go.
That'd be fun.
Guy says Satan Claus.
Oh, Last Boy Scout with Danielle Harris.
God, here we go. I don't know if this is I don't know how seriously to take this comment, but it's on Twitch. I'm going to answer it. Here we go. A minute ago, Emma 19988. If you could see any celebrity get tickled, who would it be? Dave. I'm picking Dave.
I would love to see Jessica Alba and Danielle Harris tickle each other. My wife's
I'd like to see that too, actually.
I think it rolled. I'm surprised they can go
liking for both of those women. But yeah, Danielle Harris and Jessica Alba tickling each other. Fucking yeah. That's a sweet spot right there.
Okay. Emma says Justin Bieber is just quite arrogant and he'd hate it. So there was that one too. What about you, Jeff? What would you like to see tickled?
Who would I like to see? Geez, I don't know. There's just so many choices. I'll just go with what Dave said because it's classic.
Actually, all three Nightwish singers tickling each other.
Oh yeah, God. all four.
Yeah,
I can't picture Marco in that.
Just hang on. I'm going to answer this question in a way that's going to fuck with Dave. Tim Curry in the outfit from Rocky Horror. Just to see Dave's reaction to that. That's who I want to see get tickled.
Who is he tickling or who is he being tickled by?
Susan Sarandon.
Oh, you're sick an individual, man. What would Tim Roth say? Shit. Oh, Tim Robbins. Who is Susan Sarandon?
Yeah, they're married. Yeah, Tim Robbins.
Yeah, but she's doing pretty fucking well, actually. Just to be fair for a minute here, she's aging like wine.
She's aging. I've always thought she was kind of nice, but she's got that googly eye thing happening.
All I can think of now is the Reddit thing where they keep their eyes on things in the shopping centers. That's all I can think of now.
She kept her eyes open while sneezing. Like, no, he's fucking fine.
She's a good actress.
Sandra Bullock.
I'll just present it. She's a good actress. Yeah.
Anyway.
Sandra Bullock tickling herself.
Oh my God, Dave. Okay, on that note, we're moving on. Let's see. Nicole says Iron Maiden are releasing their Monopoly soon. Well, why not?
I'm so fine pointing to Acacia Avenue.
That, yes. Definitely. Guy says, thank you for a show, guys. Weekly highlight. Thanks for joining us as always. Nicole says, thanks all. What a wonderful night. I'm glad everyone's had a great time. Guy says, I'll tickle Bree Treasy for sure. Sally says, Henry Rollins. I want to see him break. So that'd be interesting. Emma says, do you agree Justin Bieber is a good choice? Do you get why I said I unfortunately am not up to speed with Justin Bieber. I cannot. I'm going to boom a moment here. I don't know the fuck anything about him. I just don't pay attention to
it. That's fucked up. Somebody tickle Rob Zombie. That'd be funny.
Marilyn Manson.
Oh, no. Anyone who tickles him is bound to get fucking sued.
Cancelled. Now let's how do we fuck this up? Like more than we have tonight. Who? Like, as in, you want to see someone go full on Tickle Me Elmo fucking spastic, right? So who would be like a candidate to see do that? So like, try to think of the most serious. Like Henry Rollins is good because he'd be so serious. I want to say who would be the most serious, but serious.
Donald Trump tickling Joe Biden.
Oh my God.
I think Dave just broke the fucking concept. Oh wow.
I don't even have a reply for that. That's fucked up.
He's like, laugh for me, baby. Laugh for me.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Joe's rubbing his head. Yeah.
I mean, take this in the context of Dave's ravishing rack rude.
Ravishing rack rude.
Oh, there we go. Ravishing rack rude tickling Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Miss Elizabeth being the special referee.
A little bit to the left. Yeah.
Miss Elizabeth tickling Sensational Sherry. I'm down with that. That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, we're off the rails. Okay, I think it's time to wrap this up tonight. What do we got here? Vinny says Susan Sarandon is a sexy goldfish. Is like a sexy goldfish, sorry. Guy says tickle Phil Anselmo.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
a good one.
He's
That's
an
a good one.
angry motherfucker. He'd be
That's
perfect.
a good one. Yeah. It's good to make that fucking laugh. Basher says, touch me. Oh, well done. Well done. Nicole says the Rocky's laugh is infectious.
Mick
Andrew,
Foley
Paper
tickling
Tape
Terry's
Paul,
fuck.
here we go. And then Justin Bieber in the Coops guillotine would be good. There we go.
Oh, yes. Do it. Make it happen.
All right, we're going to get out of here. That's enough for now. We've been here for a few hours, and it's time to let everyone get some sleep, not least of all ourselves. But thank you all so much for joining us. Back again next week with another battle and a whole lot more about stupidity. And we'll tune in next week see if Dave can fall off the chair again.
I got to top myself now. God knows what's going to happen.
I don't know. We are out of here.
Surely that's got to be the thumbnail for this episode. That's
the
thumbnail.
Going to be the thumbnail. We have got to go though. We have ticked over to midnight now. It's time to rattle on through.
The witching hour.
It is. But that's it for now. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you all again very, 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 very soon, obviously, with much more to come, with another battle next week and a whole lot more, and we'll be on TV and stuff in between as well. So hopefully you all enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for your company, whether you're watching live now or later on, you're tuning in at your own leisure. A big thank you to our fantastic sponsors in Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance. Their details are in the description for this episode. Same as ours, so make sure you like, follow, subscribe wherever you can or choose to as well. And I normally do a bunch of other shit. I've forgotten what it is now I'm going to talk about, but yeah, zonked. It's been a fucking night. It has been a night. Thank the sponsors. Done our details. There's links to everything that we talked about in the comments and also in the description box. So if you are tuning in later on, there are references for you to check out for music context in the description box as well for anything we're talking about here as well. So hopefully you've enjoyed the show. We'll see how crazy we get next week. Until then, though, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Jeff.
On behalf of Conrad, thank you all so much. We'll see you all again, same time, place, next week. Until then,
drink up.
And rock on. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Jump to the
yeah.
left. And a step
Come
to
on.
the right.
And a step to the right. That's it.
Let's do the time warp again. No.
No.